one silver lining in the 2025 season is that the Kansas City Chiefs have an opportunity to make their roster better. They move on to the next act of the Patrick Mahomes era. It was the most consequential draft in the Patrick Mahomes era. The Kansas City Chiefs picking in the top 10. This KCSN draft coverage is presented by the Fanatics app. Rep your team's newest picks and cash link on your family and Swanson. Here with Maddie Lane and Craig Stout for the most consequential draft of the Patrick Mahomes era. 2 first-round picks, 9 picks overall over the next 3 days. And we will be here for every single pick of the 2026 NFL draft. I am so excited to be covering the draft as I always am. It's the 5th draft in the season, but I am more excited that I get to hang out with these two for the next 2 days, 3 days. Maddie Lane, Craig Stout, we're all together.
Audio sucks. Okay.
I'm celebrating your 5-year anniversary on Sunday as well. Maddie Lane, Merry Christmas to you. So glad you made it here. All together. Tucker here. We're excited. We're 30 minutes after starting. Like I said, maybe the most important draft that issues on the go out there. I think it's a lot of stuff. So it's exciting. I'm happy that this season that means a lot more money out there like that. So
Yeah, I am. How are you?
I'm doing well. I drove in this morning.
How was the wind?
Wind was fine.
Huh?
It was fine. It was windy, but it was fine. It was just fine. I'm more excited about the fact that I get to be here this year. I get to participate in this year, and that the Kansas City Chiefs had a top 10 draft pick. This is the culmination of a not great season.
Well,
It was great to watch as Chiefs fans, but this is the reward. This is the prize that we get for not having a particularly great season. And now the Chiefs get to try and add a hopefully true blue chip talent. And I'm really excited to get to be here at Holiday Distillery with you two fine gentlemen.
Thank you for everyone letting us know that we're still working through some technical difficulties here. We're trying to get the audio up. We were experiencing stuff here earlier today. So thank you so much for letting us know. And if you start hearing us okay, please let us know.
throw the 6-minute video back up, and I'll get the audio clear in that time. So back to the 6-minute intro video, and when we come back, the audio will be fixed. So thank you guys for working with us. We will be back right after this.
KCSN Chiefs draft coverage is presented by the Fanatics app. Rep your team's newest picks and cash in on your fandom. Well, we made it, folks.
Ooh.
The one silver lining in the 2025 season is that the Kansas City Chiefs have a top 10 selection in the 2026 NFL Draft. A massive opportunity, a massive inflection point, a big moment. Probably the most consequential draft in the Patrick Mahomes era to date as the Kansas City Chiefs look to make improvements to their roster for now and in the future. I am so excited to be here at beautiful Holiday Distillery as we cover every single pick of the 2026 NFL Draft here at KC Sports Network. And as excited as I am for this draft, I'm equally, probably more excited to be hanging out with my friends in person, something we don't get to do all that often. Craig Stout and Maddie Lane here for every single pick of the 2026 NFL Draft with me. Maddie Lane, Mary Draftmiss, I'm glad to see you.
Listen, we're redoing this, so this is good. We are doing well. We're doing great. Speaking of great, I'm glad that Craig is here because if he wasn't here, our audio problems on our part two wouldn't have been fixed. So thank you, Craig, for fixing these.
I need you
all
guys
the fans
to
appreciate
all
it.
Stop. I need you guys to all stop. This is all Tucker D. Franklin, BJ Kissel fixing the audio.
Shout out
here.
Tucker and BJ.
They did a great job making sure that this was fixed here. I literally sat in this chair. I did nothing.
I think it was just your presence that really inspired them.
Definitely wasn't. And if this is how it's going to go, I'm going to start heading out. No.
Chat is already singing your praises.
Of
I
course.
think get used to this. That's why you're in the middle.
What, so I can't escape?
Yeah.
You guys are going to box me out?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Box you in.
We're not letting you get out of here. But, yeah, we are, 10 minutes or so from the start of this draft. And, man, that's so much to cover here. And, I think the funny thing is, boys, is we're not used to having, a pick at 10 in the top 10. We're used to waiting until the end of the draft, the 30s, before the Chiefs are picking. And BJ and I were joking in February. It was like, what are we going to do the second half of this draft after the Chiefs pick ninth? Well, they traded Trent McDuffie and made sure that we had something to do for the rest of the evening, and we're going to be paying close attention to the entirety of this draft because I don't think there's very many spots in this draft where the Chiefs can't move up and the Chiefs can't be aggressive in kind of trying to navigate this board. I think you have to start paying attention as early as pick 3. And you could be, paying attention throughout the entirety of the draft for some announcement that the Chiefs are making a move up for this draft. What a huge, huge opportunity for this team to make this football team better. Maddie Lane, where do you think the Chiefs are picking tonight first? Where do you think it is?
The first pick, huh?
Yeah.
Whew. I think they're gonna pick at 9. I think it's most likely they pick at 9. I am not so silently hoping that they have a chance to trade up, and let's say Arvell Reese is falling, and they have a chance to go draft him. But I don't expect that to happen. It looks like we might be shifting away from that. If it's not for Arvell Reese, I think they stick and pick at 9 because I think they want to keep their draft picks to remain flexible to move out of pick 29, probably forward. I think there's a pretty big cliff somewhere between 20 to 24, and I think they want to be flexible enough to move up into that range rather than moving up 2 or 3 spots at pick 9. So I think they pick at 9, then they come back up and pick a little earlier towards the back half of round 1. What about you, Craig?
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment, and I think it's funny that we're talking about an Arvell Reese fall. Literally all we're talking about is maybe him not being selected at number 2 overall, which would be considered a fall because I think everybody just naturally assumed. I know, speaking with several Chiefs fans, things like that.
Shout out Chief Hale.
Hey, shout out Chief Hale. Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, that's great. Thanks for the super chat. As a part of that, we'll get to that in just a second. I don't think a lot of people thought that Arvell Reese was even in the math for the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those that we haven't talked about very often because it wasn't really in the cards at any point in time. But that being said, I think it's pick 6. I do. And I agree with Maddie. I would prefer to use that, those assets to try and move up from 29 to try and get into a little bit more of the tail end of the more blue chippy prospects in the first round. But that being said, I don't think they want to take a chance with their first pick of the draft. I think they want to ensure that they go get their guy. Cleveland clearly wants out. I think that they can get there in a trade up and ensure that they don't have somebody snipe him, essentially, out from under them.
I'm paying attention as soon as 3. If David Bailey does go off the board at 2,
Yeah.
I am paying close attention.
Ears
I'm,
perked.
I'm seated. I'm sitting up. I'm looking up because I do think that there's a chance that we need to start paying attention as soon as that. It's going to be a fun night, boys. I think with 2 selections here, one at the first third of the draft and then in the back third, I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how the Chiefs come out of this thing. I do think that I don't think they'll pick at 9 and 29 tonight. I really don't. I think that they're going to be maneuvering this board tonight to try to secure 2 players that they covet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they're sitting at 9, if they stay at 9, I do think it's Reuben Bain Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the odds-on favorite to be the selection of the Kansas City Chiefs at pick 9. If they pick at 6 and move up, I also think it's Reuben Bain Jr.
Yeah, I do too.
And it does seem like Ian Rappaport about within the last hour already has kind of connected those dots today. That if the Chiefs could be looking for a small move up, he actually downplayed the idea of them moving all the way up to 2 and 3. And kind of focused a little bit more on the idea of them moving into the 6 range.
Mm-hmm.
Just for you nerds out there like myself, if you're looking at the trade charts, we are a Rich Hill trade chart operation here. And picks 9 and 74 for the Chiefs line up very well for them to just move up to pick 6. It's a pretty clean conversation there, actually. You just give them your third-round pick to move up to 6, and you have your opportunity there. I think it's Bain most likely. Now, if Reese is somehow to fall down to that 6 range, I think that's the move there too. If I was guessing today, I think the board probably sits Reese, Bain, and then the wide receivers. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now. As far as the targets, do you disagree, Maddie?
I don't know. There's been a weird amount of extra, smoke. I think we can call it smoke at this point in time for DBs again. It felt like this final week, everybody's transitioned a little bit more to pass rusher or a defensive end. But all of a sudden lately, it seems like we're getting a lot more Caleb Downs, a lot more Mansour Delane to the Chiefs just this past day. I'm not fully buying in that that's definitely at the top. I just wonder if that's not something that's been picking up a little bit more steam. Maybe it's just like precautionary, like, hey, Bain's gone and we don't like the receiver options or something like that. So I don't want to read too much into it, but I do wonder if defensive back's not maybe a little higher up on the list than what we thought. I hope not, but I just wonder if it is.
And it might be. It might be. I think that may be at pick 9 specifically, or the first pick, wherever it is. Pick
Right.
9, the first pick that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have. I think that we have all but cleared offensive tackle off of the board here. I think all the buzz,
so.
all the hype, it seems like the very first pick for the Chiefs is not going to be tackle. Going to take a tackle today? I still think
so.
it's pretty
Yeah.
likely.
Heavily possible.
Yeah, heavily possible. But I don't think it's going to be 9 at this juncture. So I do think that because we're seeing some of that buzz, people pull open the Chiefs depth chart because they're getting nothing. They're getting no information. I mean, if you listen to any of the national guys, any of the people that, kind of cover the draft professionally or anything like that, nobody has any idea or, through line as to what the Chiefs are doing.
I will say, though, because I do think the Chiefs have pulled off a masterclass this entire year.
Yeah.
I think they've done a fantastic job just navigating the media, navigating and coordinating some of the leaks that they have in this year. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, hey, look, we're never going to be picking here again, most likely, with Patrick Mahomes as our quarterback. Let's go out and just pull out all the stops and how we navigate the media this year. I think it's been very consistent and coordinated in how I think the Chiefs have communicated some things. Things like, well, Andy Reid and Kyle Whittingham, they're best friends, guys.
They're pals.
So Spencer Fano's the pick at 9.
I mean,
clearly.
To be fair, Sark and Andy were friends.
Yeah. Yeah, but the
I
Xavier
know, but
Worthy
Xavier Worthy
the
pick.
Xavier Worthy discourse was never about Sark and
It
Andy Reid
wasn't.
being friends.
Until after he got picked.
Correct.
And then it was like, hey, Andy and Steve Sarkisian have this really good relationship. They could go to him and ask about Xavier Worthy, and that was after. The fact that the Spencer Fano and Kyle Whittingham and Andy all came together weeks before the draft makes it feel like either A, the Chiefs said that, or somebody just found it out and everybody else ran with it.
And if you think about and I don't think the Kyle Whittingham Andy Reid connection is a surprise either right now either. It's like it's a years old thing, but
Well, I mean, his son has been on the Chiefs coaching staff for years.
A long
right.
time.
But if you think about so the Xavier Worthy, the Sark Andy Reid connection came out a lot more after the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are the Chiefs just cashing those checks from the last time that this happened?
Yes.
And bringing up the connection. Well, that was a big reason that they took Xavier Worthy a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Chiefs have done a great job just misdirecting and kind of throwing some things out. And I do think to this point, I don't think the Chiefs' intentions have been very clear. I do find it interesting how much Reuben Bain late there has been. Even Daniel Jeremiah, when you look at he mocks Mansour Delane to the Chiefs at 9, but there's a 2-sentence write-up on that mock draft scenario, and the first sentence is about Reuben Bain. So it's like, okay,
Right.
he's hedging a little bit here. He's
Everybody's-
throwing Reuben Bain's name out.
Yeah.
Drafting 2 cornerbacks in the first round of this mock draft, one being 25-year-old Traden Stukes, which, hey, look,
Safety.
I know, but
Don't.
no,
I will.
he's a cornerback. He's a cornerback.
I thought you were about to say something bad about Traden Stukes.
No,
Okay.
I mean, he's old. That's the only thing that's bad about him. Everything else is perfect.
You got to leave this place with working legs, so you better watch how you talk about Craig and I's guy. Just saying.
But, I do think the logic ascribed to the Chiefs' selections by Daniel Jeremiah didn't make sense, but DJ hedges with
I know.
half of the write-up being about Bain Jr. Bain Stukes makes way more sense than Mansour Delane and Stukes.
I don't want to sidetrack too much in this, but can we answer a super chat question? 'Cause I
Yes.
wanted to say, okay, so Primetime Rambo, I'd seen you had another super chat earlier, but we asked this one. Would you guys trade pick 29 for Brian Thomas Jr.? It sounds like there's some buzz about the Jags wanting to get into round 1 of
Yeah.
this draft, and they don't pick until late round 2, and they don't have a ton of extra capital, right? So if they want to get up there, Brian Thomas Jr. would almost have to be involved in the trade. How would you work a deal that involves Brian Thomas Jr. coming to Kansas City and 29 going to Jacksonville?
I need a pick back. I think 40 is the highest that I'm willing to come off of for BTJ. So I need some compensation back
So to
as
get
well.
29, you want something back.
I want a little something back, but at the same time, I probably make that trade because the wide receivers, this is what you were talking about, trying to trade up from 29 to get in that 20 to 24 range. You're hoping for either a good offensive tackle, as we drafted in our mock draft, or a good wide receiver to improve the offense. BTJ improves the offense in a bigger way than any of the wide receivers that they're going to have to trade up for immediately. Now you're going to have to pay him. There's going to be a little bit more there.
Still 2
you
years
got
away.
time. You
A
got
little
2
bit
years
away.
in a club-controlled year
But-
there, too. Like, you've basically got 3 years of club control on Brian Thomas Jr.
Right.
So
Right.
I do have a question. So if you were going to offer a pick straight up, what's the value?
Pick straight up 40. It's 40.
Pick
I think
40, okay.
I'm willing to give up 40 for BTJ.
All right, the reason I asked that, just kind of trying to get an idea. So that would essentially be pretty close to the math's relatively close. It would be a pick swap. The Chiefs give 29 and the Jaguars give up pick 81.
Okay.
That's roughly the value of the 38th pick in the draft.
Gotcha. So that would be, another third-round pick for the Chiefs at that point. So
Yep.
you're getting rid of your early second. You're getting
No. This would be 20. You would still have the early second, so
That's
you'd
what
be
I meant to
giving up
say.
20. Yeah.
You still got the early second. You're giving up your late first. You're getting a wide receiver that would be your wide receiver 1, ideally in the. Yeah, I think I would make that happen as I talk through it. I'm getting on board with it.
No, I think you would do it if you. I mean, you're kind of like faced with like a bird in the hand, one in the bush kind of thing here with pick 29. I think you would do it. I do think you would definitely try to play hardball and get something to back in return. But push comes to shove, if you're going through the first round and the Jags are offering that deal up, and you're like, I can trade up 29 and something else to go draft a tackle, to go draft Casey Concepcion, Omar Cooper Jr., whoever it may be, or I can get Brian Thomas Jr., who honestly is probably the same age as Omar Cooper Jr., or barely older, if I were to guess, right? You can go you could trade and get him, a proven player at this point. That'd be pretty darn enticing. So if you could get something back in particular, but even just straight up, I feel like there's a lot of pressure there to make that move.
I would be eyeing something kind of in the middle there. So like I think I would be pushing to go pick 29 to Jacksonville and pick one of the 5th-round picks in exchange for 56.
Oh, I'd like that.
See, I don't think they want to get rid of 56 though.
I know. I think that would be more appetizing to me. I think
you'd more than likely get one of their round 4-ish pick back. Would just be just off the top of my head. I think would make more sense.
That would put it. Yeah, I mean that's the same. It's middling the same way. It's just they're holding on to 56, and that would make some sense.
Well, what's Jacksonville trying to get back into 29? Like everybody at the end of the draft right now is trying to get out. Like I mean,
there's just been a lot of rumors about them potentially wanting up there, and like they don't have it. They have a good team, but it's not a complete team. So like I don't know who they're eyeballing, right? Like I don't know exactly what the plan is. Maybe it's a corner, right?
Maybe it is a corner.
That seems to be a spot where you can get
maybe you're Mod McCoy. Maybe they're liking McCoy. They're not as scared away by his medicals.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe there is somebody, right? Like I don't know who it's going to be. It's just that's been the buzz going around for a little over a week now. The Jags could be a team maybe interested, along with the Cardinals, like getting back into the back end of round 1. So just that super chat came up. I know that was a hot topic today. So I think that was a good chat or a good conversation to have as we wait for Roger Goodell here to officially announce that the NFL draft is starting. I do want to put a disclaimer. We're going to spoil picks. We are going to tip picks. If you do not want picks tipped, put it on a delay and hang out with us put it on a delay for a couple minutes and come back. It's just really hard for us to engage with the chat because you guys are in here in the chat and people in the chat will spoil picks, not in a negative way. It just happens. We've tried not spoiling picks before and it means we have to ignore the chat, right? So just heads up, we will talk about the picks before they are announced on your television. So if that is something you want to have in real time, you might have to put us on a little bit of a delay because when we see the picks, we are going to talk about them.
Mm-hmm. I'll make it simpler. I want picks spoiled. I want them as soon as possible. I want to start breaking it down so we don't have to worry about who else is on the clock or who we're pretending is on the clock because the Chiefs have already made a pick. Let's go.
Kent opens his presents on December 23rd.
24th.
He goes on there the 20th. He goes there the 21st and starts shaking all the presents.
Yeah.
They're all rocks.
I did want to bring up something about the Super Chat. So this whole weekend is also a fundraiser, and the Super Chats all will be going to Therese Paylor All Juice Workshop. It's something that we've been doing over the last few years. The scholarships in his name at Mizzou and Howard University are fully funded. And so now we have pivoted away to helping try to help young journalists get an opportunity and get a leg up. And so that's something that we're fundraising for the entirety of this weekend to honor our friend Therese Paylor. So all the Super Chats will be going there. If you see those jerseys sitting right in front of us right there in front of Craig's computer, those are a couple of the prizes that you can win by entering the raffle that we have going right now. Tucker, do we have that graphic for the raffle? Could we throw that up?
I'm trying to find it.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's Tucker Franklin, by the way. Good to see him, buddy. Hey, hold on real quick. I don't want to distract you too much, but how are you doing tonight?
I've been better.
You're doing great, man. You're doing great. And we are so grateful for everyone that's hanging out with us here tonight on the live stream. There is not going to be a better place for every single pick of the 2026 NFL Draft if you are a Chiefs fan. Everything will be always looked at from the angle of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is what we do. This is how we do it. It's how we did the KCSN draft guide. Same thing. It's all angled at your favorite football team. It is customized content all about the Chiefs and how this all relates to the Chiefs. We will be having, we'll be playing highlights. We've got all kinds of cut-ups of players. We've got some really cool graphics and stuff that we'll be introducing throughout the broadcast. It's the best broadcast that we've done here at KC Sports Network. We are beyond excited to doing this for the entirety of the 2026 NFL Draft. Josh Briscoe is hanging out with us all day Saturday. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and it all starts. It's getting pretty close here. I think the Las Vegas Raiders are officially on the clock.
8-minute clock too.
Keep 8-minute clock.
We're
gonna go right.
We're getting in and out of here in 2 hours, boys.
What?
bragging.
You know, it's gonna be a swift night, I think, relative to what we've had in the past. An 8-minute clock this year. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Night? Was that a pun?
I don't know what that was. The delivery was kind of punny, but
it was. He had the little pause afterwards, like you wanted us to acknowledge.
Do you know what I
it?
did? Here's the thing. Halfway through, I realized it was a little Chiefsy pun, and I was like, "Oh, am I committing to it all the way?" I didn't do it.
For the first time in the history of KCSN, Kent Swanson did not commit to a pun. Ladies and gentlemen, we are breaking ground tonight.
Well, the Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock here. So we will be paying attention to see when Fernando Mendoza's name gets called in the next 7 minutes is what we're going to be paying attention
Just
to.
do it.
I'd be stunned if it's anybody else.
It's not going to be.
It's not.
It's not going to be. You're right. But
But how wild if it was?
How Raiders if it was.
who would it even be?
Jeremiah Love.
Oh my God, that would be
Two-back set.
so funny.
They're just running the Wildcat. It's just Genty and Jeremiah Love running the Wildcat for the next 5 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be Mendoza. As we talked about a little bit, in the lead up to this, it just makes sense. Mendoza's a really good quarterback prospect. I think it feels like he came out of nowhere just because Indiana kind of came out of nowhere, but it's not that. He was good at Cal a couple of years ago. He was really good at Indiana last year. He is a really good quarterback. I see all the Jared Goff comps, everything like I think he's a better prospect than Goff was.
Ooh.
And certainly they just need to build up around him. I feel like it's just going to be a high floor, not to say he can't have a higher ceiling, but a high floor. He's going to keep them on time. He's going to do everything right. He's going to work hard. I mean, I thought it was funny. He asks people that he is, interviewing with on podcasts. It's like, hey, did you watch my tape? Is there anything that you would, any recommendations that you would give to me, of podcasters and things like? He's just looking to get better. He's just built that kind of way. I think this is a really good pick. I hate that he's going to the Vegas Raiders. They certainly got to surround him with a lot of other stuff. That offense is not going to be good just with him alone, but I do think that he provides a very good quarterback for them pretty early.
I think he's a solid quarterback. He's a solid first quarterback prospect. He's not my favorite quarterback prospect that we've had in recent years, right? Like I would have had Cam Ward over him. I would have had obviously the year that we had before that with Caleb Williams and Drake May and Jaden Daniels over him. So he's not my top of the line guy. And so if there was ever a year for an AFC West team to have the first pick and be drafting a quarterback, I think this is a perfect year for that to be. That said, I think he is going to bring a level of competence to that team at a position that they really haven't had since. I mean, and as much as we like to make fun of him, the middle of Derek Carr's prime for the Raiders, it was competent QB play, right? And so I think you're at least adding that, and that's something they haven't had. So I get why they're doing it. It makes a lot of sense. You need a quarterback when you're there. I just would be. I'm not afraid of Fernando Mendoza being in the AFC West.
No, I wouldn't say that I am either. I think it's just the Raiders have not had anybody remotely close to him since the middle of Derek Carr.
Yeah.
That's it. And I think he gets them to that pretty quickly.
I am probably the highest on Fernando Mendoza. I actually wound up giving him a very low first-round grade, which I'm pretty stingy. Maddie can attest to that in the KCSN draft guide. I think there's a lot going for him. I love his floor. I think he's got a great floor. I think he's a competent football player regardless of how high of a ceiling he achieves. But there's flashes of some really impressive throws. He's fearless, absolutely fearless throwing. And he's not afraid to make any throw. And he's
the pick is in.
Not afraid to stare it down the barrel and deliver the ball. He's a good athlete. He's a better athlete than he gets credit for. Mm-hmm. Now, I think he's more of a linear athlete. I don't think he's, his change of direction is particularly great. But as a straight line runner, it kind of compares running style a little bit to Justin Herbert. I kind of see some of the ways that Herbert runs the football similar to the way Mendoza does. But I think Mendoza is just tougher than a $2 steak too. I think there's a lot of toughness to his game. So when you add up all these attributes that you like in a quarterback, it's not. I mean, I don't think he'll fail. And I think if he gets put, I think Clint Kubiak will do a great job with him.
Yeah,
I really do. I think it's a good pairing of the two, and I think there's competency in the Raiders organization at the quarterback position now. I am surprised that the Raiders didn't complete all 7 minutes or all 8 minutes of that first round because this is the only time they're going to be relevant for the next 12 calendar months.
Raj made them go for 4 minutes.
Yes.
Said you absolutely can't turn this in until at least 4 minutes in. At this point, I like that you brought up Kubiak in here because it does feel like Francisco Mendoza is the Kubiak of quarterbacks. It feels like that right there where you're just oh, well, I'm not terrified of Kubiak being in the AFC West, but I also recognize that there are pathways that this can be good, that there are pathways that this can transform into an average football team again, which they have not been for a very long time at this point. And it might be quickly now because of those two there. I don't think it's a super high ceiling. I don't see this being, oh, well, guess what now, everybody? It's Patrick Mahomes, it's Justin Herbert, it's those two in the AFC West, and you know, they're going to be able to now add to it. Yes, and Fernando Mendoza.
I know we were joking about that earlier.
We were joking about that earlier.
With the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders have selected Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback out of Indiana. And I know we basically spent the last few minutes talking about him, but I think this is a great pick. I think this is the right decision for the Las Vegas Raiders. There's a couple talented players that on film probably have higher grades. On mine.
Keep going.
I can absolutely see, him being a top 10 quarterback in this draft.
All right. Now.
Okay, so it sounds like we're back. Sorry about that. Okay, so we should be back. Sorry if you guys lost us for a second there. Kent was just talking about, Fernando Mendoza. I think YouTube didn't want us to talk about the Raiders anymore. So we're gonna move on. Pick 2 is now coming up, and this is a big tipping point here
one for the Chiefs.
For the Chiefs, right? And the only reason it's big is because I don't think any of us, and we don't know that, right? But any of us would foresee if David Bailey is available after this point. If the Jets come up here and take Arvell Reese and David Bailey starts to fall, whether it's 3, 4, 5, I don't think any of us think that Chiefs would be active trying to trade up for David Bailey. So we're kind of eyeing this pick to see, hey, how active are the Chiefs going to be trying to move up from pick 9? This has been a lot of the hot topic here this past week. The Cardinals really won out at pick 3 after this. If you are believing what everyone's saying right now, it kind of sounds like Arvell Reese is somebody that has a little bit more attention from the Chiefs. Again, in the national media, and as Kent said earlier, it feels like the Chiefs have been playing the national media game pretty well with the smoke screen, so maybe it's not real. But if this pick is David Bailey, that puts us on Chiefs trade-up watch for an Arvell Reese.
And I will say, I do believe the Chiefs have some David Bailey fans in the building. So I do think that there is some David Bailey appreciation there. Now, I don't know how far that extends and how high up that extends.
Okay.
But I do know that there is an appreciation for David Bailey's game, and I probably higher than I think of him. Now, there's always the Steve Spagnuolo filter that always has to be kind of filter through, right? Because you can be a fan of him on the scouting side, you can be a fan of him on that side of the of the coin, but if the coaching staff's not going to sign off on the player, that's where the alignment matters within the organization. Is you've got to have both sides kind of finding the right pieces there. So I personally hope David Bailey's the pick here.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not as big of a fan of David Bailey as I am of Arvell Reese.
And the pick is in.
And the pick is already in.
Mm-hmm.
And
we need
so
to find out we need to find out where these tip picks are coming from.
Yeah. So, and I agree, Kent. I think that David Bailey is not off the board for Kansas City. I just don't know if he's on the board in a trade-up scenario.
So I believe I do have the pick.
You think so?
With the second pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New York Jets have selected David Bailey.
Ooh, okay.
The defensive end.
Salty here. You sure about that?
I've got it from Jets beat writers. It does look like David Bailey is the pick.
Okay.
I do have it from multiple spots as now. So
let's talk about this now.
All right. So David Bailey, David Bailey. Do we have clips of here? So I think he's a talented edge rusher. I'm grateful to see him off the board. I'm a little, I don't know if I had the same opinion of him as the second pick in the draft. But if you are the New York Jets and you are looking for immediate pass rush help, somebody that can come in and help you play immediately. As you are fighting for your job if you are Aaron Glenn. David Bailey is a ready-made pass rusher with some question marks about the profile as he fits the Kansas City Chiefs. But the talent is there. The rush ability is absolutely there. And I get if you're trying to save your job, go get the guy with a high ceiling as a pass rusher and an immediate contributor.
Just a pure pass rusher. Pure pass rusher at this point. Not going to play the run, 4-down front guy. It feels like a move of we don't want to have to try and figure out how to play Arvell Reese. That's what this feels like right now because, frankly, I think Arvell Reese is the better player. Maddie, any David Bailey thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, I get the safe aspect because you know what he is as a pass rusher, but at the same time, is a guy that is purely a speed rusher who's not going to play on early downs that safe? I don't know. So I am happy he's coming. I'm happy he's coming off the board from a Chiefs fan perspective because I don't think they would want to go up to get him. And even if he was to pick at 9, I think he's a tough fit into what the Chiefs do based on how he plays. Doesn't mean he's a bad player. I just think he was a lot more scheme specific than what an Arvell Reese is going to be, what a Ruben Bain's going to be, just comparing him to other edges. So keep him off the board, let Arvell Reese fall in case there's a chance, let Ruben Bain fall, let some other players fall in case there's a chance. I do think he makes a little more sense for what the Jets are doing in terms of just, hey, pin your ears back, run to 10 yards, and see if you beat the quarterback there. Yeah. And that's what he's really, really good at that. But I think you saw when he played against Utah or Arizona State, when there's an athletic tackle across from him capable of matching his pace and cutting off his speed rush, not a lot of production came in those games against the NFL caliber tackles, right? And so I just think that it's a little bit of he's a little bit more uneven, I think, than the way he's been portrayed compared to Reese.
So I do think there's been some late conversations starting to leak out a little bit about some concerns about the profile too, which has been quite interesting. And actually, I think it was at times when people were discussing his fit with the Chiefs in recent conversations. So I think that's been kind of interesting. Patrick Mahomes tweets out Wreckham.
No, of course he does.
Sure.
Let's talk about Arvell Reese.
Oh, okay.
Can I say something real quick? The adrenaline hit, literally as David Bailey went off. I'm not joking you. The adrenaline hit literally as David Bailey went off the board.
Want to go run some hills?
No. No.
So we know the Cardinals want to get out of this pick. Arvell Reese is a player that the Kansas City Chiefs reportedly, would be willing. Some of the national media picked up that would be willing to trade up for. A lot of questions in the chat. We've had it from several people, Primetime Rambo, Tater's World, talking kind of about Reese's fit in Kansas City.
Fair.
Reese's fit in Kansas City. If the Chiefs were to trade up for him at this point, it would be a player that would play off-ball linebacker, would probably play some Sam linebacker role for the Chiefs in year one. He'd play off the edge. He would be able to play in more of a 3-3-5 front and then kick down in sub-packages. He would be a true 3-down player. He has not rushed the passer much or really worked as a pass rusher much in his career, so you put him with Joe Cullen. You'd work him a little bit with the linebackers as well. Steve Spagnuolo knows how to use these guys. He's used them even early in his career. In New York, he was able to get some of these players into really prime positions where he was able to maximize their value. I can see how they would fall in love with him enough to trade up.
Yeah, I mean, from the fit perspective, I think it's pretty clear. Early on in his career, he is most likely going to play as a Sam linebacker. He's going to play on early downs. He's going to take your Leo Chenal role. And look where the NFL's gone, right? The NFL has gone more to running. Everyone's talking about going heavy personnel, running between the tackles. What does that mean? More base defense. What does that mean? More linebackers, guys that can play the run. So early in his career, you take him and you play him as an off-ball Sam. But he can actively go play defensive end on rushing downs. This isn't Leo Chenal where he can only blitz from the A-gap, right? This is a guy that can line up as a defensive end. And you hope by year 2, year 3, he now weighs 250, 255 pounds. Because, I mean, look at his frame. He doesn't have to weigh 240. He can weigh 250, and now you have a full-time defensive end.
Yep.
That is the path. If he's able to fall, if the Chiefs decide to go get him, I think it's a little bit of off-ball and pass rusher. But the goal is to ultimately end up as a defensive end. It just might be a year or two, and that's not a problem for a guy with his skill set.
Yeah. Shout out to Zach Byers there for the super chat. Thank you, Zach. Really appreciate that and completely agree. Shout out, Zach.
Yeah, there's only a few minutes left with the Arizona Cardinals on the board. And
They're taking some time.
Their draft board is clapping. I don't
They
know
are
if that means
clapping.
that they made the selection.
I
They
don't
stuck.
see anybody on the phone yet.
They are sticking and picking, or if they're getting out of that pick and they are just hyped to be accumulating assets in this draft. So we're kind of waiting to see what happens here, and if the Chiefs wound up being the team that made the move here. They're still showing time on the clock, so I don't know how they, it'd be interesting.
And so, I think I think all three of us are kind of fans. If the Chiefs were to trade up, depending on what the compensation is for Arvell Reese, we're also not saying they have to, right? You can wait this out. Maybe Arvell Reese keeps falling because maybe the Cardinals aren't even taking him. Maybe the Titans are willing to trade. Maybe the Giants, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to have to right now. So yeah, we'll see what the Cardinals do here.
The pick is in.
Okay.
We do have the pick. The Cardinals did wind up making the selection. They did not trade out of the third pick.
I bet they didn't get an offer they wanted.
With the third pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals have selected running back Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. So he is the third pick in this
Let's go,
draft.
Jeremiah.
Good for Jeremiah Love.
There were some rumors that the owners really wanted Jeremiah Love.
Owners kind of make the pick.
Owners kind of make the pick here, right?
Sign some checks.
And I
Shout
think
out Felix.
if you're looking at Mike LaFleur and he's wanting to establish that offense there, I think building through an exceptional running back is a logical choice there. I mean, this is one of the best, if not the best, tape in the entirety of this draft. Like, he is a special. I think when we've talked about him here, we've compared him to, we've compared him to, one of the top 3 backs in the last 10 drafts.
Yeah. I mean, he's that level of good.
Bijan,
That's it.
Saquon, and that's the list.
Yeah, Saquon is definitely the top.
When you go with what you've got out of Jeremiah Love, and I think one of the things I've always appreciated about him is there's some hidden yards that he always finds. Like, there is, there might be a poorly blocked play through contact, and you've got a play that is getting made initially behind the line of scrimmage. Jeremiah Love finds some way to turn that into 4 extra yards. He finds a way to just try to find a way to get extra yards out of those plays even when things aren't going great. So it's not just the contact balance; it's just the ability to fall forward athletically that he just finds yards in every single play.
Listen, I love Jeremiah Love. He's my number 1 player in this class with a bullet. I think he's a phenomenal football player. The dynamic playability, the ability as a receiver, as a true 3-down back. He can run inside, he can run outside. There's not a single thing as a running back that he can't do. So I 100% get the pick. I think he's clearly a better running back prospect than Ashton Genty was last year, who also went very early. Now, my only qualm is, hey, when your team's not built around a running back, do you really want to take one this early? Yeah. We've seen that fail before numerous times, right? So do you really...
Genty.
Saquon Barkley,
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson. It's not like the Falcons are doing great, and that team's even was more well built than these others. So the pressure is now on for the Cardinals to fix everything around him. But man, I think they give themselves an A+ player to start building around.
I will say, it's Ian Rappaport is saying they did not get calls about pick number 3.
I don't think anyone thought they were taking their guy.
I've theorized. So I thought there was one team interested.
You did?
I thought there was one. I thought there was one of the Saints or the Chiefs interested in the third pick.
Fair, yeah.
And so like I thought maybe one team was being used for leverage. It sounds like 2 teams were being used for leverage.
Yep.
And so here we go. Like this, the board is opening up very interestingly.
It is.
Because
before we move on from Jeremiah Love, I do want to say this right now. Tyler Algier, you got to fire your agent, buddy. This is the 2nd time in a row.
No, he's perfect for this. He's built for this role.
He is built for this role, but man, that man can't catch a feature back roll to save his
My
life.
dynasty team was really hoping.
Yeah, I bet you wish you traded to me now, huh?
Tyler Algier?
Yeah.
Did we have a deal going there?
Yeah, I kept trying to get him, and you kept saying no.
Well, yeah, I probably should have.
All right, this board is awesome.
Well,
though.
here's where things get really interesting because
maybe
Arvell Reese at 6 is in play.
Could be.
I mean, maybe. I think the next 2 teams could also take Arvell Reese just fine.
I also agree, though.
So.
I think that Sonny Styles is. Caleb Downs is also in the play.
I think this is where I think things get a little bit interesting because I don't think the Giants would go Reese.
No, I don't.
Sure, really.
You think they'd play? Well, they could play him off ball.
They could just play him off
They
ball.
could just
Or
play him off ball.
Thibodeau can
But-
be back on the trade market
Yeah.
immediately. I'm not saying they will or won't. I'm just saying I think the Giants are.
I
The
think that-
Giants are more in play than the Titans, in my opinion, for Arvell
Interesting.
Reese. Look, if you're the Titans, what are you taking Arvell Reese to do, right? Like, it seems
Yeah.
like they signed a bunch of defensive linemen, and the buzz to them has been Sonny Styles. If you're drafting an
I think it's
off-ball,
Sonny Styles.
you take Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
If
I
you're
do
getting-
think it would be. That's what I'm saying. I think it would be. Here's the thing: if they're going off-ball linebacker or linebacker type, I think it's Sonny Styles
Right.
for the Titans. I feel like the Giants might go a different direction. I feel like they might be a.
maybe.
There's a chance the Chiefs just have to give pick 74 up for Arvell Reese.
Oh my goodness, that would be something if that happened. Well, let's get through the next.
I'm just.
two
I'm
picks
already.
at this point.
I'm already.
And
wishing.
then we're talking about a scenario here where, am I mad at the Chiefs stick and pick,
Yes.
knowing that Arvell Reese and Ruben Bain are available at 6 because
I asked you this
chances
at-
are good.
At 5 for me.
I know.
I said
know.
at 5 for
I
me is
said
where I start
earlier
to
than
get
that.
annoyed. Yeah, 5 is me where I start to get annoyed if you're not trying to trade up for Arvell Reese.
The-
Titans have picked.
They picked. Yeah, they stuck. They
Oh, that's
stuck there.
quick.
They were sticking and picking.
Well, that feels like they knew exactly who they wanted, and they didn't even entertain moving out, which is fine.
Oh my! If this is real,
There's
I
no
think
way.
this is real.
Nah,
From Paul Kaharski.
I don't know. I don't know who you're looking at right now.
All right, we got it. With the 4th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans have selected wide receiver Carnell Tate.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. This was a popular pick
It was.
early in the
It
draft
was.
cycle, and then everyone backed off of it. Good for them for getting their quarterback some help. I'll say
Absolutely.
it. Good for them for saying, hey, guess what? Offense matters still. Quit trying to put 2 defenders on a team in the first round. Offense matters still. Good for them for going to get a wide receiver 1 for Cam Ward.
This feels like Robert Saleh saying, I can fix the defense with the guys that I got. We're going to
Yeah,
focus
and
on the
This
defense.
feels like
a little
Brian
later.
Dable only getting hired if he gets a pick.
And the only thing, like, they
Please
did
straight
a
up.
lot in free agency to address that
They
defense.
did.
They
They
spent
did.
a lot of. They spent a lot of money. They acquired a lot of players on the defensive side of the ball. The board has gone very well for the Chiefs through the first 4 picks.
If you are loving an edge pick.
If you are wanting Arvell Reese, if you are wanting Ruben Bain Jr., one of them will be available at 6. One of them is available at 6.
That's
for
correct.
sure.
Yes. Oh my. Oh man. This is quite interesting here. Yes, I agree, Matty. Carnell Tate was a hot pick, especially around the combine. Like
Yeah.
that's when people were
where
really
the best
heating
info
up.
is.
And it's true, but that's really when it was heating up. I think he fits so well in that offense too. Like this it makes so much sense. I think everybody just went so far away from it because they went, well, it's probably Jeremiah Love because he's not going to go before the Titans. Like that was the floor. So if Jeremiah Love's there, well, then clearly they have to do that. And if Jeremiah Love's not, well, they're going to wait for a wide receiver. You know, that's kind of what everybody had defaulted to over the past month or so. I think I would not be shocked if the Titans just go defense from here on out. Don't get
Probably.
me wrong, but this really feels like we have our guy. This is our wide receiver 1. He's going to be on time. He's going to play with Cam Ward. This is the guy that we can give to him that he can be Mr. Reliable for. And
I mean, look at these
I
highlights.
I like it. Yeah.
Cam Ward's going to have so much fun with this right here, right? Like, here's a guy that not only gets open on time, runs routes the correct way, but in these broken plays, you can just kind of chuck him the ball into contested situations, and he's going to bring it down. So, like, I 100% get that for any team that needs a wide receiver. I'm also very glad, and I don't mean this in a negative way for another person, that Carnell Tate still ended up as wide receiver 1 off the board, because it made no sense to me to take any of the other wide receivers over him if you're an NFL team. He's not my wide receiver 1. I like Mekhi Lemon better, but if I was drafting at pick 4, I'm probably taking Carnell Tate. That's just a lot safer.
Oh yeah. It's
He's
a
just a
super
safer
safe
pick.
Yeah, it's a super safe pick. And again, like you said, it's on time. Which Jordan Tyson is not. You know, he's not going to be on time in the same way. He's not the same size that Mekhi Lemon is. He's not like he checks so many boxes.
Does this
for the
pressure
way
the Giants into taking Tyson now with a wide receiver off the board?
I was getting ready to jump to that because I was getting ready to say it seems like the Giants want one of like a Caleb Downs or a Sonny Styles. Like they really would like to do that, and then the other pick be either an offensive tackle or a wide receiver.
Or Love. He was, I think, an option.
Or
yeah.
Love was probably an option. This feels like the pressure because the Giants may have been the ones that are saying, yeah, we were going to select Carnell Tate next. Do they pick Jordan Tyson?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
It definitely throws a wrench to some strategies because, like, now, the receiver run maybe starts a little bit earlier than we anticipated going forward. Because, I mean, like, if the Browns stick,
because the Browns aren't going to take an edge.
Well, the Browns might take receiver.
Correct.
Why couldn't the Browns take Arvell Reese? They run across from Myles Garrett.
They totally could.
They could. It just feels like everybody, they need an offensive tackle.
Sure.
I know they've got to pick a little
They need
bit
a
later.
receiver.
Yeah, they need a
No, I
receiver.
agree.
Like, it feels like the offense is hurting more than the
And listen,
defense.
we've gotten to pick 5. So clearly the way that the draft community outside of the NFL felt about Arvell Reese is not the same way the NFL's
That's
felt.
true.
Because, like, everybody else said, he's like everyone's number 1 player, right? A lot of people's.
yeah.
And he's clearly not for NFL teams because they're taking running backs
Absolutely.
and wide receivers that a lot of people say don't profile as an elite wide receiver ahead of him. So.
This wasn't just, the Jets, made a mistake here and drafted a player that everybody else was just like, okay, whatever.
I do have the pick. The Giants, with the 5th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, are selecting Ohio State edge linebacker Arvell Reese with the 5th pick in the draft.
So they'll play off ball for them, or he could rotate in and they could move on from.
Never expected to be so sad about a guy going to pick 5, but here we are.
Yeah.
We're not used to this here in Kansas City. This is not something that we're familiar with, paying attention so much. But I think, hey, look, this is pick 6 is prime territory here for trade up. I've talked about this off the top of the draft, but this is a great spot for the Chiefs to trade up, and the reason being is that their 9th pick and the 74th pick in the draft lines up perfectly with the Cleveland Browns at 6, who have been rumored to be trading back or be interested in trading back. So this is a prime spot. Arvell Reese is off the board at 5. Reuben Bain Jr. is still there. This seems like a player that is late connection to the Chiefs, at least in the national media. Does feel like one of those prime targets. Maddie, how do you like the board sitting for the Chiefs here with with 3 picks before they select? Do you feel comfortable sitting and waiting it out, or would you just go up and grab your guy, make sure you're jumping the Saints, make sure you're jumping the Commanders for, maybe you're the pass rusher you covet or a wide receiver?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I would probably sit at 9 because I would rather move out of 29 than pick 9. It's just my thought, but I'm not mad if they trade up here. It sounds like
the Chiefs are on the clock. Chiefs are on the clock.
Yep. Ooh. All right. We'll get there. We'll get things started here in a second, folks. The Kansas City Chiefs have traded up, so we will be we'll be starting here in quite a second. Are you ready for me, Tuck? The Kansas City Chiefs have moved up to the 6th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. They are not sitting on their hands. They are getting aggressive to go out and get their guy, Kent Swanson, here with Maddie Lane and Craig Stout. They are moving up for the 6th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, going up from 9. Still awaiting what the compensation would be. We were just discussing here. I am seeing some reports that the Chiefs gave up 974 and also pick 148.
Wow.
So a little bit of a surplus here to go
Yikes.
move up to the 6th pick. They're adding a 5th round pick. It's a little bit more than what the traditional trade chart would show, but that tells me that Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs have some conviction about the player that they are about to select.
I wonder if there was another team that was interested. Were the Saints trying to come up too? Was it another team that was trying to come up here? We see an edge go off the board. We saw a wide receiver go off the board a little bit early. There was a scenario here where the Chiefs could have sat at pick 9 and been missed out on the top 2 wide receivers, the top 3 edges. That's not a position that we wanted them to be in right now. So this is a conviction trade up for sure, Maddie.
Yeah, I mean, 974 and 148 for what we were kind of penciling in as the safe and easy trade up target seems like a little bit extra. We'll see how it goes. I'm nervous because there's a chance that you say, hey, the edges are going, so we take Reuben Bain. Perfectly fine. A little giving up a little too much, but fine. Trading up for Tyson, I'm gritting my teeth.
I don't love that.
Trading up for a first tackle off the board.
That doesn't make any sense.
Ooh, I don't know. That's scaring me right now the way this is going. It's like I'm a little more nervous about this trade up, I think, than you guys are. I think they gave up a lot to go up 3 spots, to be honest.
So let's list the top 3 candidates that you have here, Maddie Lane, if you're the Chiefs.
It's going to be Reuben Bain, probably followed by Jordan Tyson, and I think, Chiefs fans going to be mad at me, but Keldrick Falk would probably be my next guy on that list, but I wouldn't trade up for him. Like, if I'm trading up, if I'm trading up, I would assume that it is for Reuben Bain, Jordan Tyson, or Sonny Styles in that order.
Oh, it could be Sonny Styles, although I'm going to tap the sign and then I'll get over it very quickly if that's the case. But no, this doesn't feel like they're trying to get ahead of a tackle run at this point. It just really doesn't. They can't have one guy, that they've got to be the leading edge of this. Reuben Bain feels like the guy that it might be. Oh, my.
I have the pick.
Oh,
I do have the
yes.
pick if everybody else is ready. I've been waiting to confirm, and I do have the selection. With the 6th pick in a trade-up, the Kansas City Chiefs have selected cornerback Mansour Delane out of LSU. So a lot of the concerns, questions, conversations around how aggressive they needed to be to address the cornerback position, they are going out and getting the safest, best cornerback, I think, in the class from a – if you're talking about, if you're baking in the injury, if you're baking in all those injury concerns, this is the best tape at the cornerback position. I think the closest thing to a sure thing at the cornerback spot. They are replacing Trent McDuffie with the first selection in their draft, giving up picks 974 and 148. Very obviously, I think there is a lot of thoughts here happening right now with what the Chiefs just did, giving up 3 picks to make sure that they go grab the top cornerback by a lot of people's considerations when you take into consideration everything in the draft. Maddie Lane.
Wasn't on my radar even remotely to trade up for a cornerback. The Chiefs now traded Trent McDuffie and then replaced him with another corner that they traded a lot of draft picks to get. That's a tough pill for me to swallow. But on the field, Mansour Delane, even if you think Jamar McCoy's healthy, Delane is the most versatile corner. He's the best combination of zone and man coverage. He's reliable as a tackler. He's got great ball skills. Like, he checks all the boxes for a corner, right? Like, if you go down the checklist, Delane hits every single thing you're looking for in a corner. He just definitely wasn't on my radar as a trade-up candidate, especially given the fact that you traded away a corner that you're hoping he can be as good as.
Yeah, he was my CB1. He was a good press corner, really sinks well in zone windows. Like, he's just good. He's going to be able to play in every single scheme that Steve Spagnuolo, wants him to play in. What was the plan at corner? Like, that's kind of where I'm sitting here with trading Trent McDuffie and all of that. Was it really just about the money? Mansour Delane is a fantastic to be able to play him week 1. He's going to play every snap, and he's going to be good. He is a true blue-chip talent. He is a very good corner, and he would be very high, not just in this draft, but in many drafts at the corner position. Now, he's not Sauce level. I wouldn't put him in the same realm as like Sauce Gardner, Pat Surtain, those sorts of Derek Stingley. He would be tiered down from that for me. But that being said, he is going to come out there, have good production, going to be able to play man, going to be able to play zone. Spags is going to use him everywhere. I get why they liked him. It's just one of those, the Chiefs have consistently not spent assets on corners, and then they trade away their blue chip talent, their all talent, and then trade up again to go get
an extra, so a surplus.
A surplus to go get a corner.
They gave up, if we're looking at the draft math on this and just trying to get an idea of how much the Chiefs trade up, and clearly if they felt the need to go up and get their guy, but they probably gave up a surplus of, I don't know, the value of a late 4th to go do this.
Yeah.
So, I'm a little surprised by this one.
Me too.
I'm not gonna lie.
Me too.
And credit to the national media, but there's been a lot of people that have connected the Chiefs to Mansour Delane. He's been. Yeah. It's not like he has not been frequently mocked there. This is one of those players that that they've been connected to over the course. It's just when you looked at the totality of rosters, looked at who was available in this draft, I don't think that this was anybody's plan A, B, or C, or not a lot of people's plan A, B, or C when you were on the outside looking in. So very clearly they felt like they needed to address the cornerback position in a big, big way. And one thing I will say,
they did.
I think we spend so much, even if you read the write-ups, when you're listening to like the logic behind selecting a cornerback with their first pick, when you see, the write-ups about it, it's always about well, they've got to replace Trent McDuffie, and that's true. But the truth is, they've got to replace 2 starting high caliber cornerbacks.
Yeah, they do.
Jalen Watson got
Watson's gone
paid
too.
this offseason too. And so when you've got Trent McDuffie and you've got Jalen Watson off the books now, they're no longer on this roster. That's part of the logic. I think they needed a cornerback badly. We've always kind of operated under this assumption that they were going to be able to find value.
Yes.
With the cornerback position. They've done such a good job with that historically. But no, they decided that they needed to go and make sure that they just got top-end talent. And they went and got the best tape in 2025 because Jermon McCoy did not play.
That's true.
And when you look at just kind of the body of work there and the availability, your best ability is availability. I think Jermon McCoy's tape in 2024 is better than Mansour Delane's in 2025.
Yeah.
But there's long-standing questions about Jermon McCoy's outlook. And so they're going out and they're getting Mansour Delane, the cornerback at LSU.
I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, let's reframe this a little bit here because I think we were all thinking this was going to be edge. It was going to be wide receiver. It was going to be one of these. It's still a premium position. Just because, the Chiefs have done historically well with drafting this position and developing this position does not mean that they don't want a blue chip guy. This guy will play boundary. This is not a Trent McDuffie scenario where they're going to play him boundary and or a slot. Yeah, he's got a little shorter arms, but he's got the size to be able to play on the outside and certainly played on the outside for his career here. If you look at that Chiefs cornerback room, it's not
It's thin.
good. It's very thin, and so they needed an infusement of talent. Now, we were targeting maybe pick 29, pick 40. Brett Veach even has said this is a deep corner class. He has addressed that sometimes.
Oh, clearly.
Obviously not.
So he trades up to number 6 for this. But it is a valuable position. Trading up and taking an invaluable position, they need a guy that can do that. Now, that being said, as I'm looking forward here, as I'm looking at the rest of this draft, I don't think that they are going to trade up from pick 29. I think that we are probably looking at pick 29 or a trade back here. We're not going to get into that just yet, but I like some of the guys around there as far as an edge rusher standpoint that can still be added here. So it's not just a complete miss. Now, a double defense, we'll get into that later, but Mansour Delane is CB1, is a blue chip CB. It does make this defense better. I know everybody's saying, oh, who's going to get to the quarterback? How are they going to get to the quarterback? They needed guys on the back end, too. It wasn't just about the front 7.
I guess my holdup is I don't think he's a blue chip CB. I don't think he erases half the field. I think he funnels into assists. He's a good corner. I just don't think he's a blue chip. He's not Derek Stingley. He's not Sauce Gardner. He's closer to Trent McDuffie than he is those guys as a prospect. And Trent McDuffie went 20. Now I understand it was size concerns, but he's closer to McDuffie as a prospect than he is those guys. So the trading up for him is going to be a tough pill for me. So losing pick 74, let alone another day 3 pick, is a lot for me to handle. To take a corner, they traded away Trent McDuffie for pick 29, a pick next year, and another later round pick. And then they spent more than that to go draft Mansour Delane and leave their wide receiver room and their defensive end room early in the draft the way it is. This has not been my favorite process, and that does not take away from the fact that I think Delane is a very good corner. But also, hey, you go back and watch him at Virginia Tech. You ain't saying that's a blue chip player at all. So, it's 1 year at LSU. His last year was really, really good. This is a hesitation one for me. This is a big hesitation for me. I don't think he was a top 10 pick even in this draft class.
I think we wound up with him as the 11th player in the KCSN draft guide. There's a few players available on the board that we liked a little bit more than that, including Ruben Bain Jr. And, hey, look, Ruben Bain Jr., there were some questions about whether or not he was actually on the board. And, I think we heard a lot of there's a lot of buzz out there that he maybe wasn't on their board with some of the recent news. And so instead of, and
Mansour Delane is hyped to be a Kansas City Chief right now. I'm not going to lie. He is super hyped to be wearing the colors. He's super hyped to be in Kansas City. So, that's always good to see as a fan. I do think he's going to bring that energy and all of that. Yes, there are other guys here that we were looking at, but I do think once we get to training camp, once we get into the season here, depending on how the rest of this draft shakes out here, I think Mansour Delane is going to be somebody that Chiefs fans are going to really, really like. He's physical, too. really plays the run well as well. Like, it does a lot of things really, really well.
He's a Spags fit.
He's
Absolutely a Spags fit. There's no questions about that. Like, he absolutely has the profile of a Steve Spagnuolo corner, and he will fit very well in this defense. There's no doubt about that. I think it's still I think it's the circumstances, right, that around it. It's not sticking and picking at 9 to secure Mincer Delane. It's not giving up just fair value for the 6th pick. It's giving up an extra 5th round pick, essentially, in value for that selection. So, I think there's mixed emotions on, looking at where the board was sitting, and then ultimately what the Chiefs wound doing. But I think there's it's not a complete reach either. It's not like this just insane reach where it's just out of left field. This is still a very, very good football player that will fit in very well. And, maybe there's some, the Chiefs just trying to hit this one down the fairway a little bit. Maybe this isn't.
hitting it down the fairway while trading up that much.
That's I think yeah. When we're talking about reaching, I think that trade up makes it a huge reach. I mean, like sticking and picking at 9, fine. Trading up what they traded up, I think that makes it a big reach. That's pick 6. They traded up. They traded their top 10 pick, a round 3 pick, and another pick to go draft a guy that we all agree is not a blue chip corner.
He's not Sauce Gardner. He's not.
A guy that doesn't typically go that. The last 6th overall pick at cornerback, and I understand it's not the strongest draft class, but the last 6th overall pick, the top 10 pick at cornerback that I think you would put at his level, and they traded up that much to go get him. I don't know. I have a hard time not calling that a reach.
The trade up part, I think you can hear the argument. I just think when you're looking at the draft range of where he was gone, I think some people thought he could go as high as 5.
I don't think he was going below 12. Probably.
No.
Yeah. It sounds like there was some people. I mean, maybe he wasn't getting past Washington. Maybe he wasn't getting past New Orleans. Maybe there was a lot more love for Mansour Delane than we are thinking. I'm just contemplating this. If I'm looking at the board with a Bain, with a Tyson, with the Styles, with what we were missing, why did you have to trade up for a corner of this caliber this much? And again, if that was the case, if you needed a corner this bad, I understand there's some financial ramifications, but if you needed a corner this bad, why are you trading Trent McDuffie away just to chase it? You traded away your best corner to chase it.
Right.
You didn't pay your second best corner just to chase it. Yeah. It feels like they're chasing their own tail, and they are the ones that gave their tail away.
And I think that's the disappointing part of it. I think that's the disappointing piece of all of this is you got the 29th pick for an already established blue chip cornerback that, yes, you were going to have to pay a lot of money only to turn around and use the biggest pick in your draft and the 74th pick and the 5th round pick. It does kind of and I'd kind of be curious, maybe the outside perspective of Delane was a little bit higher than kind of the consensus, right?
It
wouldn't be that hard to get to that point. I don't think it would be hard to, not like it's jumping it's a 4-spot jump, 5-spot jump as far as where the media sits versus where the consensus is on him inside building. So, I think there's a lot of there's going to be a lot to unpack, and the truth is you got to see how the rest of the board sits. Strategically, what do the Chiefs feel good about down the board that makes them feel comfortable making this big swing at the cornerback position? And
I think they got to nail 29.
They got to nail 29, but what do they know?
40.
What do they feel good about? I shudder to even, bring this up. And I want to be careful with this.
I know where you're going.
I do want to be careful and sensitive to this whole situation. But there was some news today that came out about Dave Merritt, the cornerbacks coach, who has been lauded for the last 10 years of doing an outstanding job of developing cornerbacks and the Chiefs being able to take value and get value out of day 2 selections. And some news came out today, him being arrested for a misdemeanor domestic violence on draft day. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate from a football perspective, but it is at least, of note that happened today, unfortunately, and it's devastating, if I'm being honest. Not from a football perspective.
Right.
But just kind of, I at least acknowledging that happened today in midst of our conversations where the Chiefs, He was the biggest selection in their draft after trading pick 29.
My safety is going before corner take, aged like milk.
Listen, a lot of all of our draft takes about this aged like milk with a trade up with Reuben Bain and Jordan Tyson on the board and the Chiefs going to Mansour Delane. I think we had all been pretty strong in our belief that they would not go chase corner. People harken this back to the Tyreek Hill trade where they didn't go chase wide receiver after trading him. I don't think, I mean, the national media thought this was very much a plan.
Absolutely.
I think there are Chiefs fans out there, I don't mean to speak for everybody, that said, hey, I don't know if this was that they thought this might happen. I don't think this was the most common thing to think happened for Chiefs from Chiefs fans. So I kind of caught everybody off guard. But I will say, like, we spent a lot of time talking about the process. Like, hey, with Mansour Delane, I mean, as a player, right, I think we talked about him a little bit. We did gloss over a little bit of who he is as a player, and I think that is a little bit unfair. And so we can kind of finish this off with like our final thoughts, I think, on Delane specifically, right? And like how we think he fits and stuff. And like I said, I do think he's a very versatile corner.
Yes.
That he's very patient. He's incredibly smooth as a mover. I know he ran in the 4.3s. I don't think I saw that on tape, but he's fluid. He's a smooth mover, not explosive, but smooth. Good transitions. He plays the ball well. He's physical and press. He comes up and makes tackles. Like, he really does check all the boxes you're going to want out of a cornerback, especially when it's going to play in the current version of the NFL, where you do play a lot of zone. You do play a lot of match coverage. You mix things up a ton. So, like, from an IQ perspective, from a being ready on day one perspective, he does make a ton of sense. My only, like I said, my reservation that I said it earlier about him as a player, he's not the kind of guy that you stash off on one half of the field and say, he's got it, we can focus everything elsewhere. He still is going to require some help. He still is not a guy to shut down half the field, so that's where I'm a little bit more like, is that worth pick 6? That's just what it comes back to. But as a functional player, he can do anything that Trent McDuffie did for this team, and he maybe is in a little bit bigger package. We'll see if he projects, like he develops as well as McDuffie did. But from a technical standpoint, from what you call on the field, he can do everything McDuffie did, whether it's in the slot or outside, predominantly outside. So he's a good corner. He's a very good cornerback. It's just a matter of, was he pick 6 good? That's where I guess the value aspect comes in.
And he walks in as CB1. Now, part of that is, the room's not great.
Right.
But part of that is, so he probably would be, even if Jalen Watson were here. Let's say they signed Jalen Watson. He would probably come in and still be CB1. Yes, he's going to run. He's going to do everything. He's got better ball skills than Trent McDuffie did. That was one of the big knocks on him. He's got better ball skills.
A little more length.
Little more length there. Not a ton. He's still only got 30-inch arms, but, the height is there, like Matty referenced, 4'3", 540. Did not do any other testing, so he is just a Tier 2 CBAT, but could have produced at a little bit higher level there. But I think it's the do-it-all mentality that definitely fits in Kansas City, is definitely something that Steve Spagnuolo is going to covet in his secondary there. I am curious to see if they try and add a couple more do-it-all kind of players in that secondary, because if this is going to be the focus now, if it's going to be, hey, we feel pretty good about our front 7 here, whether or not we agree with that, if they say we feel pretty good about our front 7 here, they need to really attack that secondary more. They need to add some more body there. They need to try and add a few more guys that can play with that versatility and feature Mansour Delane in the way that he can be featured, and try and get some more of that amoebic secondary, that more flexibility, to quote Ken Swanson from a couple of years ago, to try and get that secondary to be the strength of this defense. Again, if this is one piece of this, I kind of get the picture a little bit more. If this is the solo move that they make, I really have a lot of questions about the process so far this season.
I'm shuddering to ask this question, but this is how we close up these every time. It's time to grade the pick, boys. Craig, you're nice.
Okay.
You start.
Grading the player, I think it's a B+. The player itself, I think it's a B+. Grading the trade up, I think it's a C-. Grading the process this offseason at corner, I think it's a hard D-. Like, I really have a lot of questions about why they did some of the things that they do, but I do like the player.
Maddie.
Yeah, I think Craig was pretty fair in his assessment, honestly. Like, I think Delane is about a B+ as a cornerback. If we're calling him a top 10 corner, Delane's about a B+ prospect. Like, he's not a slam dunk home run top 10 corner prospect to me. So B+ feels fair there. Trading up for him for what they gave up, that we're down to a C- range. That's a big trade up for that kind of corner. And the process of how we arrived here, given what they have in the wide receiver room, what they have at defensive end, what they have at right tackle. I'll even throw right tackle in there. And then that trade up, yeah, that's a D minus closing. That's the lowest D minus you can get. That is a 60%.
I'm like I hate that I'm right there with you guys on all of it. It's like
We should hang out.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't even think it's groupthink.
It's
I don't
not.
I don't even know if it's groupthink. We have enough differing opinions. It's a C minus pick for me. It's 3 picks that they gave up. They've lost a lot of flexibility to move up and down the board now the rest of the draft.
Yeah.
Those are their 2 best. I think those were their 2 best trade chips to move up.
This was their move. This was their A-plus plan. This was their plan 1. And what they just gave up, this tells me that was what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
Yikes.
And so
maybe it is just an F.
Big questions at wide receiver, big questions at defensive end, big questions along the offensive line.
One position on offensive line. Yeah.
This could be more validation that maybe we'll see. There's still a lot of ball game left, but the Kansas City Chiefs have traded up with the Cleveland Browns to select Mansour Delane, the cornerback out of LSU. He is your newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, appreciate everyone hanging out with us here.
Who needs a drink?
Can I do the AI?
Yeah.
There's like
You need a drink,
I
kid?
do need a drink.
Okay.
I do need a drink. I really do.
Oh, boy. Thank you guys for hanging out.
No, I really do appreciate it. And the funny thing is, y'all, like I'm keeping tabs. I like to keep tabs on the broadcast a little bit, see how things are going. So I had the YouTube up, and there was an AI like just summation of the chat, and it was just basically like the chat's pissed.
I thought Kent was joking when he said Mansour Delane. I'm not kidding.
I
wish he was.
Here's the funny thing, guys. It took me about 3 minutes. I had to pick for about 3 minutes, and I quadruple checked to make sure that it was actually Mansour Delane. Like I was double, triple checking what was going on there because like.
If it makes you feel any better, I messed up the draft tracker on how trades are done. So I made the pick before I did the entire trade, so that messed the whole thing up, so I had to restart the whole draft tracker.
Well, at least it was only pick 6.
It was only pick 6, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But now I know that I have to complete the trade before the pick.
Lesson learned, folks.
Man.
I'm learning a lot of lessons today, guys.
Catch back up on the draft.
Yeah, we should get you all caught up back
2 more better picks
on the draft. So with the 7th pick, the Washington Commanders selected Sonny Styles, the linebacker out of Ohio State.
My guy.
Yeah, 1 pick away, Craig or Tucker. With the 8th pick, the New Orleans Saints stick and pick, and they select Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Out of Arizona State. That's a fun selection, I think, for them, if I'm being honest. I like the idea of them getting Jordan Tyson. And this is from Albert Breer, just so you know. The Browns were going to take this player at 6 if they stuck, but they didn't stick. They selected Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle out of Utah.
Yeah.
So the Browns get 2 extra picks out of the deal to move back and get the guy that they were going to take at 6. And that's Spencer Fano, the offensive line. The Chiefs got cooked by the Browns a little bit.
It's unfortunately
Now-
that Andrew Berry cooked.
The rumor is that the Commanders were interested in Mansour Delane. That's the rumor. We will never be able
congrats to the
We'll never be able to substantiate that. I'm just saying the reason that it seems like the Chiefs decided to make that move up is the rumor is the Commanders were big on Mansour Delane. The Chiefs felt like they had to jump them to go get him, and thus they did what they did. This is where we are. Commanders taking Sonny Styles. I feel like he probably would have been the pick over Delane despite the rumors. It sounds like there was a lot of smoke for him going there. You look at that defense. They have been looking for a true linebacker to run that team for a while. I think that he makes sense there. The best off-ball prospect that we've had in a long time, like just pure off-ball linebacker that can do a little bit of everything. And then, the Saints coming in with Jordan Tyson. I think he pairs really well with Chris Olave. You can move both those guys around. Funny, they're creating the least rack offense you possibly can out of their wide receiver room with Olave and Jordan Tyson. That is the least amount of yards after catch you're going to get, but they're both very good at getting open. So, I think that's fun for Tyler Shuck. So, I get both those picks. I even get Spencer Fano. Jeff Schwartz, I think, had an interesting tweet where he said Fano's kind of the opposite of what their offensive line coach typically goes for, but there was enough buzz there that I was kind of wondering if he wasn't going to be the pick for them. So I think it was really interesting that those are your next 3 picks. Listen, the Chiefs could have stuck at 9 and taken Ruben Bain if they wanted him. They obviously didn't. They could have maybe stuck at 9 and taken Mansour Delane. I'm not sold that I believe the Commanders were going to take him at pick 7. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. So
a lot of conviction there. There's just a lot of conviction.
Here we are
for
moving
Mansour
forward.
Delane. Yeah, that's the player. And he's a good football player. I mean, I'm not going to besmirch the name of Mansour Delane. I think it's just there's a little bit of disappointment in the process that led to getting Mansour Delane and getting him with such a large trade up. But still an immensely talented cornerback, a high-quality player, and the best cornerback. They felt that's the clear message is they feel strongly that they needed to address the cornerback position in an aggressive way, and they were not content with letting that slide. That's really that's the root of it. We do also have the 10th pick in the draft. Francis Maui Noah, the offensive lineman out of Miami, is now a New York Giant. This was formerly the pick from the Cincinnati Bengals. I will say this, Maddie, if we're going to tie some of this back to we can get to Francis Maui Noah in a second, if we want. Do we have Francis Maui Noah highlights, Tuck?
What did you say to me? I just saw a tweet from Albert Bear that said the Browns were going to take Spencer Fano at 6.
Yeah, we just talked about it.
I know you probably did, but I just saw it and then got distraught. So,
Ruben Bain, not on the board,
yeah,
or not off the board. I mean, so
yeah, I knew what you meant.
just keeping an eye out there.
What do you want from me?
I'm just
You want them to trade 40? What else do they have to trade?
Nothing. They traded it all for a corner.
Chris Jones? You want them to trade Chris Jones and 40?
I'm just keeping an eye on it. That's all. They don't have 74 anymore.
Nothing matters.
2027 pick, not first, obviously, but maybe they dip into maybe they give that 2027 third to move up somewhere.
Let's refocus this now. Offensive line run seems like it's starting. 9-10 back-to-back offensive tackles with Spencer Fano, Francis Maui Noah. We'll see where the next one comes off the board, but that might start your ticking clock to see how intent the Chiefs were about tackle, right? Like there's a lot of smoke about tackle. If this tackle run starts now and you get another guy, maybe the Lions get aggressive to go get Proctor. Maybe somebody jumps the Lions to go get a tackle. The Chiefs better start getting back on the phone if they want a tackle. Now, I love hearing the shaker in the background of this. Good job, Craig.
Craig Stout, everybody. Handsome devil, that Craig Stout.
But yeah, I just wondered, this is like starting the check. This will tell you how quick they go. Oh yeah, what's up, Tuck?
I got a question. Do you think the Chiefs made this pick because they only had 8 minutes? Do you think that played a factor into it? Maybe if they had 10 minutes, they would have, for lack of a better choice of words, made a better pick.
So I'm gonna say this, and I don't even really know if I feel good about saying it, but Benjamin Albright does say that KC got head faked by Washington leaking that cornerback rumor. So Albright insinuating that the Chiefs were not they got duped.
Yeah, I buy it.
I mean, you just said it.
I don't think Delane's going. I just said that. I think the Commanders would have taken Styles over Delane. I don't think Mansour Delane was this slam dunk home run top 10 pick. I know a lot of national media people kept putting him in there to the Chiefs a lot of times throughout this process, and he was getting talked about like that, but I don't think he was ever that. If you go back to the combine, Delane was never a top 10 lock. If you were erase everything that happened since the combine, he was never this top 10 lock pick. So no, I buy that the Chiefs thought the Commanders were going to take him, and that's why they traded up. I think that is a very fair conclusion to come to based on when that information came out. I don't know. I think that is how that played out. That does tell me that the Chiefs sat there, they looked at their roster, and they said, our number one goal in this draft is to get Mansour Delane. So if you believe that they know what they're doing, I'm not saying they do or don't. If you believe the Chiefs know what they're doing, this was very clearly, I think, their number one plan. This was their goal. This is what they wanted coming into this draft. If you believe in Veach and Andy and Steve Spagnuolo, you have to have a little bit of faith that this is going to work out because this wasn't a fallback plan. They were very proactive in making this happen. Do I love the idea? Do I think it was the best move? Not particularly, but I think that was the plan. Now I'm moving on to pick 29, which scares me because I've never liked how a mock draft board has looked at pick 29, and they are now out of ammunition to move up. So we're now on offensive tackle and wide receiver watch.
We assume that they're out of capital, but this is where I'm questioning whether or not they're going to dip into the 2027 bucket with all the extra capital that they have at their disposal there. To be fair to them, they have an extra third-round pick from the Los Angeles Rams. They do also have projected to be receiving a fourth-round selection and 2 seventh-round picks currently right now, compensatory picks. The formula is basically it's locked in at this point. So there's not going to be, I think, those if they're getting those picks, they're very likely to be receiving them next season. So they're going to have 4 extra picks to kind of play with in the 2027 draft. A lot of people are paying attention to that draft, so perhaps they have a little bit of flexibility or desire to dip into that. Any other day picks, I think, could be in play, the 2027 picks, if they do want to go and move up and just secure their guys. Tucker D. Franklin, you got something for us?
Cowboys have traded up to pick number 11. They traded up one spot. They are trading the Dolphins pick number 12, 177, and 180 to move up one spot. They're just getting up to number 11.
I think they're taking Caleb.
I could see, here's the pick. With the 11th pick, the Dallas Cowboys are trading up, and they are selecting Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State. I don't think this one's particularly surprising at all. It seems like a
good for them.
Logical connection for them. Caleb Downs doesn't have to go too far outside the top 10 to hear his name called. Just a defensive leader there for the Dallas Cowboys.
Here's a fun fact. For the ESPN's draft day predictor, there was a 90% chance that Mansour Delane was going to make it from pick 6 to pick 9.
Thank you.
So.
Well, I'm going to wait for Craig to.
Did you say that was Downs?
I'm going to wait to sip on this until Craig.
I said, Downs went to the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I was just saying, ESPN's draft day tracker had a 90% chance that Mansour Delane was going to make it to pick 9. So just wanted to lob that one out there.
Again, just double checking. Caleb Downs to the Cowboys.
Caleb Downs to the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't want to reset this draft.
No, you're good. Caleb Downs, good pick. A lot of people think he's the best player in the draft. I am not overly surprised that a smaller safety that has not had a ton of ball production falls to pick 11. I'm not surprised that a team was willing to trade 2 day 2 picks to move up one spot, or day 3 picks to move up one spot to get him. I get both sides. I think this is the perfect range for Caleb Downs. He might very well outproduce this draft slot by a long shot. It's very possible. There's also a chance that he's just a very good, solid starting safety, and that's why you don't take smaller, non-ball producing, turnover-producing safeties in the top 10. I think this is the perfect spot for Caleb Downs.
Yeah, no, I think this is a great place for him in that defense just needing to continue to get meaningful bodies in that secondary. That's been something that's ailed them over the last few years, and that defense just needs talent, period. They just need a lot more talent. We are here at beautiful Holiday Distillery, having a great time as we always are during the NFL draft. Craig Stout has just crafted a cocktail for us.
Oh, I can't take credit for this.
I think you can. You've been out back there for 5-10 minutes working on it.
Can't take credit for the recipe.
What is it? Just tell us what it is.
Bronco Buster. Well, we're Chiefs fans. Don't necessarily love the pick. We can bust some Broncos, so this is a Bronco Buster here at Holiday Distillery.
What's in it?
Cheers. Bourbon, Applejack brandy, little Cointreau, little lemon juice.
It's good. Good cocktail there. So the Miami Dolphins are now on the clock with the 12th pick in the draft. I actually had seen some recent connection to Reuben Bain Jr. And the Miami Dolphins.
Absolutely.
Kind of fascinated to see if he is on the board for them. Here's why I don't think that is the case, and I kind of think they might be going offense. I think the Dolphins are going to – and the reason I think the Dolphins are going to go offense is if they were interested in Reuben Bain, I don't think they would have traded with the Cowboys.
Because
the Cowboys are a defense. I think the Cowboys were a candidate to grab a defensive end. If the Cowboys are trading up one spot and they're having those conversations, I have a feeling they're asking that question that you often get, which is, all right, if you're going to trade up for this spot, is it offense or defense?
Yeah.
And they're getting that answer.
Yeah.
So my guess is this next pick is an offensive player.
That's fair. Is this when the tackle runs start?
Well, I mean, it kind of has. I mean, with Fano. Oh, sorry, Spencer Fano.
Yes,
went
I
9th.
I heard that Spano went 9th.
Francis
Fano
Maui
went
Noah went 10th.
Oh, I missed that one. Got it. Okay.
And so
Understood.
I maybe just slowly accumulating more assets and going and grabbing Mekhi Lemon
Yeah.
would make some sense.
It
here.
would.
I'm trying to think who else right now would make a ton of sense for the Dolphins. Outside of that, I don't know.
I mean, they were one of the candidates that people were talking about when it came to Mansour Delane. They need some
cornerback
secondary help as well. Are they willing to take a gamble on Jamar McCoy at this point? I think that's probably a little bit from what we're hearing from the national guys as of late, and with that knee's a little bit of a ticking time bomb. But, if it's going to be defense, I would guess either edge or secondary help on that front. However, I do think you're right. I think that it's got to be a pass catcher here. Mekhi Lemon. Do we see somebody like Casey Concepcion that's gotten a lot of heat lately, kind of moving up draft boards?
I will say that there is a Ruben Bain connection that's been made recently.
The fact that he played in that same stadium?
Not just that. It's the Jason Taylor connection.
Yeah, fair.
So Jason Taylor is a defensive coach for the Miami Dolphins. He's a defensive line coach, or for the Miami Hurricanes. But it was also obviously deeply
absolutely
in that organization on the Dolphins side, because he played there for the vast majority of his career. So that's at least something worth paying attention to.
Well,
the Dolphins got picked 12, 177, and 180 to move back one spot. So
they have a lot of picks in this draft.
They do have a lot of picks,
and not like good picks either.
No,
they do need
but
them.
they just need bodies
need them,
on that team.
They need a lot of bodies.
I do think, to your point, though, I think this almost has to be wideout because the Rams. I mean, the Rams are a sneaky wideout team. Not a sneaky. It's not quiet. They are a very loud, wideout team.
This
that
next
we
stretch,
see.
Miami, Rams, Baltimore, even a little bit. Then the Jets. That's all teams that could go wide receiver. Again, if we're looking forward to the Chiefs may be interested in moving back up again with low capital. They may be interested in moving forward. So yeah, these next couple picks, I mean, I think the next 5-6 picks will kind of tell you how the wide receiver and or offensive tackle board is going to look if you think the Chiefs are going to go offense. This doesn't seem like it's where the run on defensive ends is going to be.
No.
It doesn't feel like it. Maybe it will. Maybe it will surprise us, but it just doesn't feel like it. So
It feels a lot quieter on the defensive end front than I think everybody expected. I mean, not just Reese. That was a legitimate fall. I made the joke that falling is, to 3. That was a legitimate fall for Reese. Bain is certainly falling. I mean, there were people that were talking about early Keldrick Falk, Akeem Mesidor being in the teens, things like that. I think we're looking at, oh my.
wait, did I miss who Miami took?
Yeah, who did Miami take?
So there's
because we are kind of seeing who the Rams took.
I've seen multiple rumors about who.
Maybe we're getting got, Craig. So
Maybe we are getting got.
And we'll just wait for what the
Rumors
Dolphins
about-
are doing.
Did you? I'm just guessing. Someone said Ty Simpson to the Rams.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. I do think that that's very much in play.
Sure. It wasn't someone. It was multiple people. So that's why I was asking who Miami took.
I've seen 2 names for the Dolphins. I have seen a couple people throwing out Mekhi Lemon, and I have seen a couple people throwing out Ruben Bain. But
So
I
we just
haven't
don't
got
know.
confirmation
Okay.
on that
Got it.
selection.
Fair.
So we are still waiting to see. It does. I will say this. I do think here's what's happening. I don't think we have the Dolphins pick yet, but we do have the Rams selection.
It's possible. Which is crazy. That's crazy.
No, we do have. Do we want to just jump back to the Dolphins whenever we find it?
No, we gotta wait.
No, let's wait. Let's wait in order.
All right.
Let's wait in order because I have thoughts about how. Yes.
I think there's a chance that the Ty Simpson thing was maybe getting put in a draft and accidentally sent.
Fair.
So Jay Glazer has been hinting at a bombshell for the first round of the draft, and he's very, very well connected to the Rams.
It's fair.
And he's also said that you guys heard us just tip the pick. So, but we're still waiting. We still don't know where the Dolphins are at, and we are looking to see what happened there. But I think pick 13 got out a little early. And what happens is, here's what happens. The Rams, the Ravens are probably on the board, right, or on the clock right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that
Maybe.
the broadcast is behind. Some of the announcements can be a little bit behind. Even the picks getting filed to some of these, if they don't get picked up, or it's a little bit slow, the Ravens are probably on the clock.
Yeah.
Most likely right now is most likely what is happening here. So, we know. I do actually think we know. I think we know the Rams pick. Which is why Jay Glazer reported when he did. I think they were probably technically on the clock when he did it because the pick was already in.
Are we seeing a tackle?
Okay.
It is raining.
Okay. I
do see this Miami pick.
I've seen Caden Proctor multiple times.
Yes.
With the 11th pick, or with the 12th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins have selected Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle, out
tackle
of
run be running.
Kansas City.
That tackle run is there. Yes.
And this I did make an argument today on the radio. If the Chiefs were, because when we were doing our mock draft exercise last night, we talked about the tackles are going to fly, and we thought it was going to be a little bit later than this, but even when they started, they were gonna be moving. It seems like that's the case. If the Chiefs really did want tackle, they probably needed to be on the front end of that. I don't think trading with 74 and moving from 29 to I'm not even sure getting to 20 was going to get them a ton of options.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was either.
So I'm not convinced that tackle is truly on the board at 29 most likely because I think there's going to be a lot of players off the board. That's just my gut right now, just seeing how fast they're moving, unless there's a couple surprises here. But Proctor off the board now, Maui Noah off the board now. I think you could see him flying. Caden Proctor, I think the Chiefs had some
him
interest.
in for 30.
And had some interest in Caden Proctor. So I think if they'd stuck and picked at 9, he's a player that I wouldn't been stunned to see them select. It is worth noting. I'm gonna keep saying it. Ruben Jr. has not been selected yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing to pay attention to here. Maybe there's hope that the Chiefs can get into range to select Ruben Bain Jr. and have both him and Mansour Delane in Kansas City after their first round selections. But Caden Proctor, big fan of his, honestly.
Yeah, big guy. Had the requisite arm length. We spent a lot of time talking about offensive tackle arm length, especially with relation to Kansas City and kind of what they can do and what their preferences are. But those are NFL preferences as well. It's not just the Chiefs there. So I think what we're seeing is, the NFL recognizing they need to do this. Caden Proctor, I think, is probably going to play left tackle in Miami, and he's going to line up there, and they need some help on that offensive line. Now, he's a very big guy. Tua's got to throw over another very large human over there. The reason I didn't like him for Kansas City is more of his pocket movement ability, being able to protect all the way up the arc for a quarterback that notoriously drifts out of the back. Tua doesn't have that same problem there. So I think it's a little bit better match there. Then they're going to be able to line up Devon Achane. They still got him for some reason. They traded away everybody else in Miami, but they kept him as a part of this. Now that's another guy that he gets to run behind. I actually like this move.
Yeah, I don't think he wasn't really on the Miami Dolphins radar for much, right? But it makes sense, right?
Oh, not Tua. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Tua's not there anymore, is he?
They actually got quite the running quarterback.
Yes.
Malik.
My bad, everybody.
So, he just wasn't on the radar, I think, for a lot of national people for the Dolphins. But it was always hey, they can take the best player available, and I don't think a lot of people had that as Proctor. But Proctor is who they take. It's a good pick, right? They needed offensive line help. He can play inside or outside for them, whatever they ended up needing the best spot. So I think Caden Proctor's a very solid pick for them. A little bit of a surprise, but there is a chance that he comes out and is excellent. There's a chance he's the best tackle in this class. He was my top-rated tackle, purely tackle in the class. Now, Noah was more of a guard to me. Ifano, I just have questions about his ability to play tackle, but he might be able to. But I think Proctor was my top guard. So, having him at pick 12, I have after a trade back and picking up 2 more fifth-round picks, no qualms with that. I think it makes a lot of sense. He's not the most, the best reactive athlete, but he's an excellent proactive athlete. When you have him exploding off the ball, if you have him quick setting, if you get him to play aggressive, or when he plays aggressive, he looks great. It's when he's being more reactive, a little bit more passive, where he kind of gets clunky and top-heavy. So there's some stuff he needs to fix, but I think there's a lot of potential there. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty good pick for the Dolphins.
All right, let's
Oh, man.
I just want to make sure that everyone here knows that KCSN Chiefs draft coverage is presented by the Fanatics app. Rep your team's newest picks and cash in on your fandom. That's right. Rep your Mansour Delane jerseys with the Fanatics app. Go check that out. We are moving on with the 13th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft.
Man.
The Los Angeles Rams did select Ty Simpson, the quarterback out of Alabama.
Wow.
Look, if you go look at the tape in the first half of the season of Ty Simpson, it was outstanding.
That's the kind of caveat that you want out of a top 15
you
quarterback.
can explain. No, I tweeted this out a lot. I think I thought there was going to be a team or two that would sell themselves on what they saw in the first half of the season from Ty Simpson, because if you look at Dane Brugler as the second ranked player in his November top 50.
I know,
which is like a little rich for me still, but like that was how good his tape was. The traits are average to above average, but early season performance was outstanding, and then he got hurt. And he played through injury, and it didn't look particularly good. He had a lot of struggles. He didn't navigate pressure as well, didn't have great answers for it, and just didn't handle it, period. And you saw him wane. You saw him struggle physically. The zip on the ball was a little bit not there the way it was earlier in the season. But I think there was flashes of really good football, and I think if you're looking at like his talent, his ability, pairing him with Sean McVay, I think they're a perfect fit for each other. There's enough mobility. There's enough twitch there, a good navigation of the pocket. I think he can run what Sean McVay wants. He's got the football intelligence to do it. And I did see this tweet from Jay Glazer that said the Rams are drafting quarterback Ty Simpson with the 13th pick. So Jay Glazer was all that Jay Glazer was referring to.
Sure.
And a lot of people thought it was going to be the Chiefs or someone moving up for Reese at 3. But if you looked at some of the other clues there, I mean, Jay Glazer Ty Simpson's going in the first round. That paired with this and how connected he is with the Rams made me think this was going to be the move. But Sean McVay actually told Matthew Stafford today of their decision and made it clear it's for whenever Stafford decides to move on, which I don't think is a surprise at all. I don't think they're trying to push. Matthew Stafford out by any stretch of the word, but they do go get their quarterback in the future. And I think this is a guy that can. I mean, I think there's like I think I might have even compared him to Brock Purdy in the KCSN draft guide, if I remember correctly. So I think there's some similarities there to what Ty Simpson has done in the past and what what a Brock Purdy can do.
Sean McVay got fed up with a Brock Purdy level quarterback, and now
no, he got fed up with an immobile version of Brock Purdy.
Yeah, but it's still a more paint-by-numbers, not overly creative thrower of the football, which is Ty Simpson. I don't think Ty Simpson, even at his best, was a creative thrower of the football.
I think there was some high-level creativity early in the season before he got hurt.
And maybe there's just a little bit of a difference there on that. But he does not remind me in any way, shape, or form of Matt Stafford on any level.
No, not at all. No.
That's what Sean McVay went and had success with. So it's interesting to see them now reverting back. This definitely feels like a little. Now, Ty Simpson's not completely paint by numbers. He's not, hey, we're not going to do anything out of the ordinary. He will try to create on his own, especially if he's healthy. It's just this feels like a significant step back in play style from Stafford, which everybody wrote 800 articles about why that was such a big deal for McVay to go get a quarterback that could solve the problems defenses were giving him. Ty Simpson's not a problem solver. So it's interesting to me that they felt that good about Ty Simpson in not continuing to wait until they get a quarterback that you see theoretically as a problem solver. That was such a big deal to him in the past. Why is it not now?
Now, the part of this that both Ken alluded to there and both Matty is alluding to, he's going to have time to develop. They signed Matthew Stafford to an extension, a small one, very small one here. So they're committed through 2027 at this point with Matthew Stafford. So he is clearly the guy for as long as they want him to be the guy. And they're going to try and develop Ty Simpson behind it. Get ready, everybody, for every single Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers comp that you are going to hear here as Matt Stafford continues to play, and Ty Simpson shows up in preseason and all of this, and it's going to be Sean McVay and everybody. There's going to be a lot of that over the next couple of years. I just wonder, and the Rams don't have a ton of holes. They don't. There's not a litany of holes on this football team, so this is a luxury pick for them to be able to make. They're clearly banking on the fact that, hey, we're not going to be up here at the top of the draft in a position to draft one of the top quarterbacks again here. I just don't know that Ty Simpson's one of the top quarterbacks. That's my dividing line at this point. And so
I think it's fair value having him 16th in the KCSN draft guide, personally.
Of course you did. That's a big win for you in the draft guide there, Kent. But, yeah, wow.
One nugget I think is worth – I just think it's interesting kind of looking at like how the Rams have approached the offseason too, right, is because the Trent McDuffie trade, signing Jalen Watson, those are very much like all in for 2026 picks and moves, right? And then they go and they draft their quarterback of the future with the 13th pick. The juxtaposition of those two things is quite interesting to me, but I understand the logic why they're doing it. It's just funny because I think once you saw what they did with Trent McDuffie and grabbing and Jalen Watson, you thought, oh, they're just all in.
Yeah,
they're just going all in, pushing the chips to the center.
Lemon.
We're going to go grab another talent. We're going to we're going to go get somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And instead, they kind of played both sides. And I would anticipate the rest of the draft
Smart.
probably. Yeah, no, it's smart. I think the logic's sound. And I think McVay and Ty Simpson's a good pairing. I think Brock Purdy. I like the Brock Purdy comp, and I can confirm I did compliment Brock Purdy there.
Yeah. Before we move on from this to the next pick, which we're going to have to talk about for a little bit here, I did think it was very interesting. Les Snead was one of the people. This came out today. Les Snead was one of the people that publicly went out and backed and said Ty Simpson is a first-round draft pick. He did. He came out and he said that, and then he turns around and picks Les Snead, who is not used to picking in the first round, just went out and flat out said, we're going to pick Ty Simpson in the first round, and then went out and did it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The pick is in for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
With the 14th selection.
Are we sure? Because I have seen multiple different ones, so I just want to make sure we're sure.
Where I saw it, I felt pretty good about it.
Then run with it.
Hold on. Let me double check. I feel good about it.
Okay, rip it.
I have it from Ari Merov. The Ravens are selecting Penn State guard Olavega Ione at number 14. This is a player that's been really consistently connected to them. Were you seeing some Reuben Bain Jr.?
Yeah, there was some of those too. That's why I was saying.
The ones I've legitimately seen appear to be Vega Ione. Yep. And so
pick.
with the 14th pick, they do select an interior offensive lineman, Vega Ione. I think that was a really sound, solid pick. And that's one that's been well connected. Like the Ravens have a need in the interior of their offensive line. When you're talking about high floor players, quality players there, that's one. Like that's like some people consider him someone that could be a Pro Bowl level player. I mean, now it's the positional value argument that you've seen a lot of times with, a lot of different, with a lot of different people and how they're navigating the board. They go and they get a high floor quality player. They hit it down the fairway, and they grab the best guard in the draft.
Best offensive lineman in the draft, according to a lot, right? Like I think it's plenty fair to call Ione one of the best offensive linemen overall in this draft. You could easily make a case that he is better than Maui Noah as a guard or that Proctor as a tackler, whoever. So, yeah, this is a very good pick. I mean, I don't think the Ravens could have gone wrong with going with Vega here or going with Reuben Bain that he was falling or whatever they did. The Ravens continue to go, hey, consensus board, who's the highest rated player left? Take him.
Yep.
They're very good at that. They do it consistently, and it not the majority of the time when you go that way, right? And so, yeah, that's a good pick for them. I'm surprised we're getting a Reuben Bain fall this far. We shouldn't be because of the arm length and some of the off-field stuff that came up right away. But I'm still surprised because it felt like he was building momentum in the national media leading up to this week. So that's what made me kind of feel good about doubling down. So I'm surprised a little bit he's still falling. But we've now entered the area where I don't know if you can make a BPA case against him like you could with a Downs, with an Ione, with a Proctor. I feel like he is now very clearly at the top of that list. So I'm interested to see how much farther this slide lasts for him.
And I do want to, I don't think it's just the off field, if that makes sense. It feels like that was out there in the wild for long enough to where it wasn't a situation where now teams are scared off about it or whatever. It seems like every team has known about this for a very long time. Brett Veach even mentioned that they knew about it before the collegiate football season started. Everyone did at this point. So this feels more like the arm length thing. And I know that we've talked about it. We've kind of hand-waved it away. No, that's not a pun. But hand-wave it away a little bit to say he knows how to play at that level. But NFL GMs and head coaches, especially ones that have been around for a long time, have very dedicated metrics, and they don't like to go outside of them. Now, me personally, I'm drafting him. But
I can tell you who does.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, this is a home that Akeem Mesidor was routinely mocked to, and now they have his teammate.
With the 15th pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Reuben Bain Jr., the edge out of Miami, a player that has been consistently connected to the Kansas City Chiefs recently. And a player that I think there was some some groundswells there of interest from the Kansas City Chiefs. If the Chiefs were a trade back candidate, they probably could have moved back a little bit and grabbed Reuben Bain Jr. if they wanted.
Well, they didn't want to.
And they didn't want to.
They absolutely did not want to. I think they made that very clear.
They made it very sure.
The Bucs were a common trade back proponent, and I think the fact that I don't know how long. Hey, spoiler alert: we can't see what's happening in the draft right now. It feels like the Bucs got that pick in pretty quick, right? And so I wonder if they went, "Oh, we don't need to trade back anymore. We will take the guy that's falling." I'm just throwing that out there because it seemed like they weren't on the clock for super long after we heard about the Vega Ione pick. So, Reuben Bain off the board. I will say, about now and over the next few picks is where you could realistically start talking about the Chiefs attempting to trade up again if they wanted to. Now that'd be that'd be having to dip into 2027 probably or something. This just seems like we're getting close.
You would probably need to include a 2027 second-round pick.
Yes.
If you are wanting to move up right now, that's probably about what you're having to give up.
And I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying this is where we start to maybe be on the lookout. And hey, we've already seen the Chiefs be aggressive at one point in time, so you might as well finish the job at this point.
Well, let's talk about what those players would be like. What we're talking from a wide receiver perspective.
There's let's just one last time for everyone look at the Reuben Bain Jr.
Okay, we can cry.
Good football player.
I will remember you.
Short-armed
DMCA.
corners. Okay. Short-armed defensive ends. Not okay.
Not okay. Not okay.
Check.
Not okay. All right. So from a trade-up perspective.
No, we're doing. I mean, listen. These highlights show that Reuben Bain's very good. I'm a little shocked that the Chiefs were more interested in a corner than him, but obviously a lot of the NFL felt the same. Seeming he made it till pick 15, right? So here we are. We will see how he does in the NFL. Is he going to join the rest of the sub 31-inch arm people that have gone on to do nothing, or is he going to be good in the NFL like he was in college against all of the good competition that he played there?
This is a team that has had success taking risks on outliers.
Yep.
So they went and grabbed Kalijah Cansey.
They did.
And they've had some success with him. When he's the measurables have never been the concern with Kalijah Cansey. It's been those haven't inhibited him at all in the NFL. It's been injury. That's the only thing that he's kind of had to battle in his time with the Bucs. So they're not afraid of outliers, and they've had success trusting the tape. And this is a player I would trust the tape on. I think he's one of the best. I think he's one of the best players in this entire draft. I think his tape speaks for itself. I think someone made the argument, and I couldn't agree more. It's like we talk about outliers, but there's never been a player of his arm length that's justified being considered there.
Never made an All-Pro, never made a Pro Bowl, never had a 10-sack season. But that's the famous kind of quote with his arm length. And it actually came in shorter than that original threshold when that comment was made.
But the tape's just so good.
It's so good.
And I think that the tape is what makes him the outlier. Like at some point it's not how many of these players have we looked at in the last how many players have we really looked at in the last few years and said, well, I mean, these short arm wings are really in consideration for being that high. There's none of them.
Never.
They're just not. They don't exist.
They also don't have the tape.
And that's the point.
Has.
It's the tape is what separates him, and that's the reason that that he's going this high, and I think it's well deserved.
Okay, so from a trade-up perspective, Matty, you mentioned that. We got some wide receivers. We got Mekhi Lemon still on the board. We got Casey Concepcion on the board. Depending on how you feel about Omar Cooper Jr., he's on the board. You get 3 wide receivers there. From an edge perspective, it now feels like the next tier down. Keldrick Falk, Keem Mesidor, TJ Parker, a guy I really love. Zion Young, I know, is in the mix there a little bit too. I mean, it doesn't feel like everything is all doom and gloom yet, especially if offensive tackles start going here in the next little while.
There's an offensive tackle is not going 16th.
Okay.
Because the New York Jets with the 16th pick are picking, and they are selecting in tight end Kenyon Sadiq. So he goes 16th, right in the first half. The first half of the first round is complete. Kenyon Sadiq is the 16th pick in the draft. Another player that was connected late to the Chiefs as well with the 9th selection. That felt super high. Let's play the game. Actually, let's play this game. Because why not? Let's just we're here for the punishment. Would you rather do what the Chiefs did to trade up for Mansour Delane or take Kenyon Sadiq at 9?
Mansour Delane.
I don't want to answer.
He's not on camera right now. So.
I'm just deadpan staring at Kent. That's a tough one.
Okay.
That's a tough one.
Would you rather?
I would no. I tell you what. I would rather stand pat and take Kenyon Sadiq and keep pick 74 and the round 3 pick. Okay. If I could take Delane at pick 9.
Round 5 pick.
Sorry, round 5 pick. If I could stand pat at pick 9 and take Delane, I'd take him over Kenyon Sadiq. But with that trade up, no, give me Sadiq in the extra picks.
It would have been fun to see Kenyon Sadiq in the Chiefs offense. Because
there's going to be good corners taken at pick 40 and 74.
Maybe even by the Chiefs.
There's going to be good tight ends taken there too, though, I guess, to be fair, right? And so, at pick 9, it's definitely Delane. With the trade up, though, I'm going to lean keeping my draft capital.
By the way, shout out Daniel Jeremiah for nailing Mansour Delane.
He did.
And he brought up Reuben Bain Jr. as a
I guess trade on Stooks is coming.
Maybe Trayden Stooks is coming at pick 29.
Okay, so...
No.
Man, I hate it. I hate them doing that. No. I absolutely hate it. They can't make me hate our guy. That can't happen.
They're going to if they take him. There's no way to leave happy at thinking, you know what, we're not going to be negative.
We're not going to be negative.
Caden Proctor at 9.
Proctor.
Okay.
Proctor.
Just curious where you stood on that.
No, you know what? At 9, if it's at 9 or at 6 for Delane?
9. 6 for Delane or Caden Proctor.
Proctor at 9. You're going to have to go really far down the list to get me to be okay trading up to 6.
No, I know.
With what they gave up.
I was just curious.
No, I know. Gave up too much. That the trade is a problem.
Kenyon Sadiq, I think, would have been a really, depending on where they took him, I think there would have been some questions and all that kind of stuff, right? But I think Kenyon Sadiq, I think Andy would have done some really fun stuff with him. I think Andy Reid would have given him some jet sweeps. I think he would have got some end arounds. I think they would have, the
Is fun good?
I think he would have done great with it. Yeah.
Is fun good?
Yes, okay. I think it would have been successful. I think we joked he's RB2 in this draft. Yeah. Give him some touches. Give him some easy completions.
Them hips be stiff.
Yeah, they do.
Them hips be real stiff.
That's why you run them on jets. Just let them.
I don't know. Yeah.
Jets. The Jets clearly need. Speaking of Jets, the Jets clearly needed pass catchers of some kind. I like this move.
They just took the LSU tight end last year in the second round.
Yeah.
Mason Taylor. So
I think those two guys complement each other well.
Yeah.
You got your Y and your F.
They complement each other, but you know what also complement Garrett Wilson and Mason Taylor? Mekhi Lemon, Omar Cooper, Casey Concepcion. I'm a little surprised that they in particular went Sadiq over the receivers for that option. I will also say we now have Mekhi Lemon falling a little bit.
Yep.
We're getting close. We're not through a wide receiver run. It doesn't seem like coming up.
And the Lions are on the clock. We may see the offensive tackle conversation fire up back again.
A lot of talk about connecting the Lions to offensive line.
Yep.
I know. I think Daniel Jeremiah said that Proctor would not get past the Lions at 17.
Yeah.
Monroe Freeling still available on the board here right now. I think that's one of the players that could make sense. And this is a pretty crucial point. If the Chiefs really are interested in offensive line. This is a pretty crucial stretch here between 17 and 21, because I know you've got Detroit, you've got Pittsburgh coming, then you've got Philly, 17 and 20. Cleveland just took their offensive line, probably not doing that. The Bears, 17 and 25 is probably really where, because like I think if Detroit goes offensive line, I think there's going to be some trade ups here in the next few picks. Like I could see some teams moving up for offensive line in the next few picks, which is exactly what we were trying to do in the KCSN mock draft.
Yep.
Is we kind of foresaw like, hey, this might be this spot where tackles start falling off the board and like the tackle position kind of thins out, and then teams start panicking a little bit, trying to get ahead of Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. So 17, 18, 19, 20, pretty important, I think, for the offensive line run.
And I think if that run happens,
it tells
Chiefs
you
are out.
Yeah,
Chiefs
it tells
are
you
out
what you
on
need to
offensive
know.
line
It tells you what
completely.
you need to know.
Yeah.
It tells you exactly what you need to know.
And then we can start pivoting towards wide receiver edge maybe being the pick at 29, because I don't think – I mean, Brett Veach even said it. Brett Veach said it falls off pretty quickly at offensive tackle. We don't really think there's a tier 2 in this. So, yeah.
I think I've seen multiple people with this pick.
It seems like, we might know who's off the board, which makes a lot of sense.
I'm going to wait a quick second to confirm. No, I got it. We got it. We got a reputable place with the 17th pick. The Detroit Lions select offensive tackle Blake Miller out of Clemson. How
Good
about
pick.
that?
Good pick for the Lions.
Good
How
pick
about
for
that?
the Lions
That's a
there
very
at pick
good pick for the
17,
Detroit
huh?
Lions, huh?
Man, I guess the Chiefs didn't trade up early enough to get their guy Blake Miller, huh?
Glad they did it, not us.
Not us. So we got raked over the coals for predicting that.
Shucks.
You did.
Yeah, that's true,
You
Maddie.
did.
Somehow you just got completely just wiped off the
Absolved
face
of it,
the earth.
yeah.
But no, Blake Miller again, like the run on offensive tackle continues. There's really not a ton of options available there on the offensive line. So like I think if the Chiefs were really intent on getting one, they're probably going to have to move up sooner rather than later. And there's some teams that are probably interested on offensive line at this point. But Blake Miller, a quality right tackle.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that he went before Monroe Freeling.
A little bit.
No, I think that Blake Miller is more pro-ready.
That's what I was going to say.
And he's still a good athlete. And if you're talking about you still need a guy to develop a little bit, like you think, hey, we'll take the guy that's already kind of ready, and we're going to develop him even more. I can understand how Blake Miller had some fans, and also specifically for the Lions, I also get Blake Miller. He fits their mentality. He fits what they have going on. But I think Monroe Freeling's got to be real quick off the board, and then it becomes how quick the teams want to jump on Max Iannaccio or how quickly they want to jump on Caleb Lomu, two guys who are even bigger projects, right? But like those are the project tackles. At tackle runs really kicking off. Hey, right now that wide receiver – the tricky part with the wide receiver run is it's clearly, for me, and it sounded like for a lot of people, Mekhi Lemon and then a break and then a bunch of other guys, but maybe Lemon's seen with that other
and I
group
think
now.
maybe Concepcion is maybe the delta in between that other set of
Some teams
guys.
like Omar Cooper Jr.
I
too.
know they
so
do
maybe
as
it's just
well.
all one group. Maybe
Yeah,
it was
maybe it
clearly
is.
a 2 and everybody else.
That's
and
kind of what it feels like at this point.
could favor. Maybe that favors the Chiefs. Maybe talking like a snake at the combine was a problem. Maybe running flat-footed in your 40 at a pro day was a problem.
And I do think that the quicker that offensive line go off the board here, the more likely it is. Not that I thought that Chase Basantis was not going to be a round 1 pick, but I think he's almost certainly going to be a round 1 pick if we go on another little run here with Miller, Freeling, Iannaccio. I think now all of a sudden you're going to find people that are going to gamble on that a little more and just know that they need somebody on that front. I really wanted to come in here and just windmill dunk on Blake Miller just because out of nowhere, just because I was going to be that guy. But no, it's a good pick, and he's going to fit really well on that scheme, and he's going to play the way that the Lions want to do. It's hard to not like that for the Lions.
What's up, Tuck?
When I was doing research from the KCSN draft guide to make these graphics here, as you guys have been seeing on the broadcast, Blake Miller, I had to get creative because they don't have stats, right, for tackles. So I started putting in, like, achievements. Most snaps in Clemson history for Blake Miller. 3,778 for him. So.
I think there was a rumor that he missed 2 practices.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's crazy.
And it's because he broke his wrist, so he had to go get his wrists checked out, and then he was at them just 2 days later.
That's a kneecap biter if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, he played in the bowl game for Clemson this last year.
That's
Clemson
a
was
Dan Campbell.
Dabo didn't even want to play in that bowl game.
he didn't.
No wonder.
That is a Dan Campbell guy.
Yeah.
So the Vikings are on the clock at 18. It's long been like the most logical connection that
Just do
everyone
it.
under the sun continues to make is
Or is it Caden McDonald?
is Dylan Thieneman, the safety out of Oregon, is the player that everyone under the sun. So the Vikings have the chance to do the funniest thing ever and just make the most obvious selection. I really hope it's something different. Just because the groupthink on Thieneman at safety for this whole time it's been the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. Just mixing things up would be kind of hilarious.
They desperately need a defensive tackle. There's just no really top ones in this draft, and this might be a spot where McDonald could go. I think he's fairly clearly defensive tackle one. I do think it's Thieneman. I really do. I think that's the worst kept secret in the NFL right now, but it does feel like if it's not him, they would go more of the defensive tackle. Or maybe they can trade out of that pick and trap Thieneman a little bit later.
Wow. I have the pick.
And it's neither.
It's a defensive tackle.
Uh-huh.
You ready for the first surprise of the draft?
Yes.
I have not seen it. Is it Petey Woods?
No.
Okay.
Is it Caleb Banks?
With the 18th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select defensive tackle Caleb Banks out of Florida.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you, Vikings, for taking the heat off of us. That's nice.
Look at my
Wow!
my takes here.
That is so much fun.
Is it? I mean, good for them.
No, like fun
No, good for
outside
them.
looking in.
Good for them. I mean, you know what? Shout out for them, I guess.
I had Caleb Banks as my DT too. I had this
You
chat
did.
in
You did,
in there.
and you did make an interesting comment too.
I did.
That said something to the effect of, you're gonna have to quote yourself. What was it?
I just need you to know because I make a lot of interesting comments, Kent.
No,
Sure.
it was something basically. I just
He is a very disruptive. He's going to get a lot of pressures, and he's going to finish none of them. Like, that's basically what it was. He lives in the backfield. He is a major disruptor. He just can't finish a play.
Or play.
he looks like he looks like he has short arms. He looks
does
like
look-
he has the arm length.
That's what it was.
of Big Jimmy.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I really like how disruptive he is. I see how quickly he wins. I see the highs are there. I completely get back, and I was watching more Peter Woods, and I went, I don't get it. Like, I really don't. And so I started looking at some of the other defensive tackles to see how they stacked up. Still had Caden McDonald number one, but I really, really liked Caleb Banks a lot more than I thought I was going to when I first turned on the tape. I just think he's a very disruptive player. He is very clearly, a one-gap shooter. Gives me a little bit of Chris Jones vibes. I don't want to comp him to Chris Jones, just the way that he, is going to gamble. He could get out of his gap. He's going to play certain ways and all of that. But, man, when he makes plays, they're good. Problem is, he misses a lot of tackles in the backfield. A ton of tackles in the backfield, but man, he lives back there.
I think my biggest holdup with Caleb Banks beyond the health stuff is that he's 330 pounds and he doesn't anchor versus the run.
No,
he
he
gets
doesn't.
pushed off the ball because he plays so high. And now, you said he kind of reminds you of Chris Jones in some ways, and that's a Chris Jones trait too. I think at the end of the day, if there's a defensive tackle from this draft class that goes on to become an all-pro, Caleb Banks is probably your best bet. He has the most potential to do that. I just think he has a lot of stuff stacking against him. Not a ton of production. A lot of foot injuries for a big fella. Hasn't really played a lot. He's not particularly young. There's a lot of red flags in the profile. But at the end of the day, if there is one D tackle from this class that goes on to be an all-pro, it's probably him. So I get it. It's a push-pull. It's a risk-reward thing. Kind of surprised the Vikings are going with the big risk at this point. They feel like a fairway team.
That's why Thieneman was the pick for them, because it was just, hey, take the base hit. Feel really good about just getting one on base there, and he was going to fit in their scheme and all of that. But, I mean, Flores looking for a guy that's going to win up front. I mean, that defense is already pretty fun. I am curious to see what kind of matchups they can get a guy that clearly can win those kind of matchups.
Paying attention to see who the Carolina Panthers might be selecting now. Caleb Banks is the biggest surprise of this draft so far, and that is including, yes, the trade up for Mansour Delane, which I think sits there as one of the most.
Mansour Delane was a top 12 pick.
He was a top 12 pick. I think Caleb Banks. I mean, there's so many red flags with him. There's just so many red flags.
Can I show you guys something cool?
I would love to see something cool, Tucker.
All right, well, look at something that I can do here.
Sure.
I can show you guys all
not
of
that, dude.
all of the Chiefs picks left.
Wish there was more.
Wait, hang on. Were you showing me something cool or something sad?
Tucker, that's really cool.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate that. It looked a lot cooler earlier.
Well, yeah. When it was.
I have the 19th pick whenever we're ready for it.
No, I want Tucker to keep telling us about this coolness.
I figured I could do that, and I wanted to show you guys something cool. About
It's great.
This cool tool that I'm using.
Do it.
It's great, buddy.
Thanks.
You're doing great. I think it's awesome.
Thanks.
You're doing a fantastic job today.
Thanks. Tomorrow we're setting it up like Big Brother. We're putting up cameras in. We're 4-boxing it, cameras in each corner, and we're just wireless micing, running all over the place because apparently the Chiefs aren't going to have any picks tomorrow.
So right now I'm hoping they trade up. I got to give me something to inject some life into this right now.
You want them to trade up to 29. And again, I think the second-round pick might be pretty fair value at this point, too. Just their second-round pick next, yeah, that's pretty fair value. The pick 19, the Carolina Panthers have made their selection. They are grabbing offensive tackle Monroe Freeling out of Georgia.
Yeah,
so another offensive lineman is going off the board here. Man, we joked, like, when we were kind of doing our predictive mock, we kind of were buying a little bit of how much the Chiefs wanted to tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the predictive mock, we said, hey, man, they getting up to 20, like, just aggressively. The board would have sat terrible for them at 20 on the offensive tackle situation, too. It's been Max Ionacher and Caleb Lomu.
I mean,
that's it.
Okay, counterpoint, Mekhi Lemon's on the board, so the board would have sat really great for them at pick 20.
Yeah, but not for tackle, is all.
Don't care. On that note,
There's still time, buddy.
On that note, I'm wondering how much we're discounting 2027 draft picks right now, because if that Rams third round 2027 pick's not being docked around just because it's considered a better draft class, you can now start using that to move up.
I think that it's probably somewhere in between. Like I still, especially looking at what the Chiefs gave up to get up to 6.
I'm just saying.
The Chiefs gave a plus value for a player the Browns were going to take at 6.
I need you to move on from the Delane stuff because I've been negative enough about it. I'm trying to turn the page to be excited about pick whatever happens next.
Now, and there's a chance we could get excited about this if it's one of those players that we love. If it is Mekhi Lemon.
That's why I'm trying to talk about trading up. Let me be excited.
You would get excited.
I would. You know what I would do mentally? I would just flip the 2 picks in my brain and
yeah.
Boy, if we got Mansour Delane at 20, I'd be running circles.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
That would have been great.
No, I do think, and again, it is just purely based on the Rams. The fact that third was not devalued by a year like they typically are when you're trading future assets.
The Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock. They've traded up with the Dallas Cowboys. So
this feels like Ionacher, right?
It's Ionacher or Caleb Lomu.
Yeah. Or a receiver if they're trading A.J. Brown to the New England Patriots.
I mean, they are doing that, but
Wick's going to be your wide receiver too?
No.
Okay, so there's a lot of options for them, really. I understand the trade up for them.
Yeah. Lemon would make a ton of sense.
Kind of. They don't do the slot stuff that much. That's not their thing. But I'm not saying no. I just I think they have options on the trade up. That's all.
I do think this is a sneaky offensive line pick.
Sure.
I feel like, everybody's kind of coalesced on that over the last probably week and a half, 2 weeks. It seems like offensive line is really where it was pointing. It was pointing that way around the Combine, too. Then it kind of went away for a little while, largely because of the A.J. Brown stuff. Now it's kind of picking back up again. I don't know. It just feels like one of those it feels like maybe trying to trade up to catch one of the last offensive tackles.
I think it's to catch one of the last offensive line. The Steelers pick at 21.
Yeah.
And so
also could do a wide receiver.
I mean, they could.
Or they could do.
No, they could. I'm just saying. I think there's a lot more open than just tackle, right? That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. It just seems like nobody is in a rush to get ahead of a wide receiver, but this could be the leading edge of it.
Yeah, that is interesting, like how the tiers were perceived.
So we're 9 picks away from the Chiefs right now, right? How are you feeling about the way this board is looking?
So
not bad from edge.
Tuck, do we have a best available? No, it's okay.
I don't think so.
I can probably read it out on a consensus board.
I would have to do some tinkering, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying not to mess up a trade over here.
Okay.
Garofalo's out here tweeting out 7th rounder. I need the number, buddy. Come on. Give me the number.
I did see that.
Do they have one 7th rounder, actually? Hang on.
Consensus board ranking stuff. Makai Lemon, Jermod McCoy, Dylan Thieneman, Keldrick Falk, Peter Woods, Casey Concepcion, Avion Terrell still high on the consensus board.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about some of these options here for sure.
TJ Parker's in there a little bit farther down somehow on the consensus board.
I would be very excited about TJ Park.
Edge looks good. Keldrick Falk would be a great pick at 29.
Yes, it would.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know the double defense part of this is the struggle for you. I
It
get
is,
it. Yeah.
and especially with the first defensive pick not exciting me, coming back with another one would make it worse, but you are facing at pick 29 a Falk, a TJ Parker. That's pretty good value.
That's really
it's
good
hard to
value.
be upset in a vacuum. It's just when I step back and look at the whole approach, I'm like, oh, wow, this offense is going to struggle.
I do believe I have this selection. I'm going to wait for one more confirmation.
Tuck saw it.
Tuck seems
Yep,
sad.
with the 20th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select wide receiver Makai Lemon out of USC.
They don't do slot stuff.
This is
Good job, consensus board merchant Howie. You
Yep.
and the Ravens just railing on the consensus board.
every single time.
Good pick.
I mean, it is, and shout out Howie. I mean, and like
We don't have to shout out Howie.
No, we do.
do. I don't. Yeah, he's a.
Take advantage of the silly gooseness of the NFL right now.
Yeah, I mean, they go and grab one of the best players, at the receiver position. This might be where the run on receiver starts.
For
now,
Jalen
too.
Hurts to never throw him the ball because he runs over the middle of the field.
Right.
Well, they won't have that problem for long, Matty.
Who's going to play?
They'll figure it out, but it ain't.
Tatum McKee time? Is that
Oh, boy.
No, I just think this might be it for Jalen. Board that is
Sad.
of consideration for the Chiefs. Wonder if this is where the second wave of receivers start.
It
Yeah,
might.
makes sense. Especially with like the Steelers. You got the Browns coming up pretty soon. Dallas, I know, had interest in receivers as well. So maybe that's why Philly's going up too.
Yeah.
Because Dallas had like
Trying to
rumors
get
going on
ahead.
about Pickens.
Well, but why would Dallas trade out if they were interested in Lemon?
They didn't trade out.
Dallas did trade out of this pick.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Who traded?
Wait, that was an interdivisional trade?
Yeah, did you not?
I didn't pay attention who was trading out.
No, you just said that the Eagles traded up.
This
Yeah.
last 30 seconds is brought to you by Ben Holiday, Bottled and Bond Bourbon. is
No,
what it
yeah.
is,
You never mentioned who it was.
I
should have known that it was-
absolutely did.
Oh, Craig didn't hear it either, so.
To be fair, I did put the overlay on the ticker of what the trade details were as well.
Okay, so Craig and I just weren't paying attention.
Correct.
Look
you
at
guys
the
were
ticker.
you guys were in a different world.
That's fine.
So Makai Lemon goes off the board. So no, it wasn't. It wasn't going to be.
The Cowboys gave the Eagles Makai Lemon? Hold on, I don't think we focused on this enough.
Yeah, if you wanna wax poetic, go off.
It's not wax poetic. I'm confused. Even if you didn't love, I mean, I am confused by that tactic from Jerry Jones. If I'm being brutally honest, as you guys were talking about the 7th round pick, what did they get back?
They got like a 4th round pick.
I was
and then
watching the broadcast, not the ticker. I'm sorry, Tuck. I don't mean to.
I think it was like a 4th and a 6th round pick.
Interesting.
Well,
It's going up there. Hang on.
no,
It'll be
you're
up
good.
there. No,
I'm
hang
just
Hang on. I got to hit next pick, actually. Hang on.
again.
It'll be up there.
My brain is breaking from the Eagles jumping
Hang
forward.
on. Okay, there you go. There's a trade. That's really small, actually. The Cowboys get 23, 114, and 137. The Eagles got 20 and 218.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised the Cowboys did that. But good job for the Eagles. I think especially if you look at where A.J. Brown wins, him and Makai Lemon could not be more different from a physical profile.
Yeah.
But they can win in the same areas of the field. So
Hey.
I get it. The pick makes sense for them. That's really good. I don't want to talk too much about how great the Eagles are doing here. So I'm just going to let my Makai Lemon love just kind of, just go off the shoulder here.
I want to thank ETF Lord for having my back. He says you did mention it, Kent. Don't let them gaslight you. Also, chat. Can you tell me what you guys think of the production this year? We got the highlights going. We got the bottom, the lower third, and all that kind of stuff. Just I would love to know what you guys think about the production of the 2026 NFL Draft so far. I think this is pretty slick, and I think Tucker's doing a great job. So I just was curious what everyone is thinking out there of what we're doing here. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock with the 21st pick. We are still kind of trying to see if we can find that one out. Do you think that they were? Do you think the Eagles were? Because the Eagles, are a little bit like Veach in the sense that, like, think about last year. They traded a 5th-round pick to move up one spot with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because they were hell-bent on getting Jihad Campbell, and they started in the 20s.
I believe this is, 6 times that Howie's traded up in the first round?
Yeah.
It's something like that. It's
do it
an
a lot.
incredible number. Yeah.
Do we think they were jumping the Steelers for a receiver, or were they just doing Howie things?
I think that they saw a player that was clearly ranked higher than pick 20 available, and they went up to go get him, and they didn't have to trade too much. I don't know the draft math, but it seems like to move up those 3 picks, they didn't get, like, completely.
Well, but looking at the rest of this here, I don't think the Chargers were probably going
Probably
receiver.
not. Steelers could have, though.
Steelers
Steelers
could
are the
have.
one that they
Dallas traded out.
But
Right.
it's one of those things that, like, it's kind of like with Jihad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they probably didn't have
Maybe
to move
Cleveland would go up.
That's what I was gonna say.
Maybe the Chiefs would go up. Maybe the Bills would, the Bills have Shakir, I understand. Maybe San
Yeah.
Francisco. Just there was other teams that I think could have moved up for him. And again, I think if you look at the
Yeah.
majority of, like I said, he was the second or first player I mentioned on the consensus board. He was on a lot of rankings. He was up pretty high from this point. This is a surplus value for the Eagles, who do seem to draft via the consensus board quite a bit.
And
so.
again, A.J. Brown is going to the Pats, so
Yeah.
they needed another pass catcher unless you think that Devontae Smith can handle 160 targets thrown his way. All 160 targets that Jalen Hurts is going to throw.
I know Matty talks about, like, the Chiefs needing a volume guy. Like, the Eagles kind of need a volume guy too. I mean, because, like, Smith, like, and he can take some volume, but, like, also, like, I think that profile is like, hey, like, let's go win in the short, or the intermediate to deep a little bit more than just, like, a volume guy. And, like, this is giving him some easy completions and some under routes, and I think that's a role that's definitely needed. Still waiting to see who the Pittsburgh Steelers will be taking with the 21st pick.
Offensive line, maybe?
That's where I was leaning. Okay, I mean, but it's just both guys left are a little bit more developmental.
Correct.
Like, probably not
Unless
ready
it's
year
like
one.
a Basantis or something
Yeah,
like that.
I don't
who
think
could
they'll
play.
go guard, though. I think they'll go
probably
tackle.
not, but
So, yeah, we're intriguing.
It is intriguing.
I'd assume they're going to go. I assume they'll go tackle.
I would think if they want to tackle, there's like 2 left. Like, that's
Right, and one's a right tackle, one's a left tackle, but both are more developmental, and the Steelers might need someone that can play right now, so maybe they won't. Maybe they'll go somewhere else.
Mekhi Lemon is being interviewed, and he hasn't stopped moving the entire
This is-
time
yeah.
that he's being.
well, that's what he did on the podium
I
too.
know.
He said he learned from it. Listen, hello.
Man.
Also,
He's just a
now-
he's an LA guy.
chat. Also, another question. Did you hear that lightning in the background just
I
now?
think yes.
You could actually not hear lightning. They would have heard the thunder.
Heard?
I
Oh, the
don't-
heard
You
Tucker?
guys going
You're
10 for
okay,
10
right.
right now is
I
Right.
hate
Okay,
you.
lightning.
The Steelers pick is in.
Okay.
I don't know who it is though. I just know that it's in.
The Steelers pick is in.
Somebody said the camera angles are making you look tall.
Yeah,
Maddie.
people are upset that I'm not shorter right now.
He's our real short king.
Wait till we're standing tomorrow.
Yeah.
BJ wants Caden McDonald for Kansas City. You gonna play him and Tonga together?
I have the selection.
He's in for it.
I believe.
He's DT1.
Well, I'm gonna double check. There's been someone that's been early every single pick. They've had it. I'm gonna double check this one though.
Pick is
I
in.
saw Max Ianacher.
I mean, that would make sense.
That's what Coffee Boy has, and he's been right every time.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's accurate.
Shout out Coffee Boy.
Throwing hands in
With
the coffee
with the
shop.
21st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select right tackle Max Ianacher. The tackles are absolutely flying off the board right now. And Max Ianacher is a Pittsburgh Steeler with the 21st pick in the NFL Draft. That means the Los Angeles Chargers are on the board, so they can go take Chase Basantis, an interior offensive line.
See, that one really makes sense. Basantis over there, I think, makes sense. They need some offensive line help. They obviously feel like they've got guys that could play out there. But
Never
What's
mind.
up?
Sorry. No, I just thought of a name that would be funny
I think they go defensive end.
for the Chiefs.
There's
It's
two
really bad.
Ian Ochilers in this draft. What are the odds?
I did not know that.
I just went to go search for Ian Achor, thinking, there's got to be only one.
Sure.
And I almost clicked on another one.
What's his name?
the other one?
It also started with an M, and I don't remember.
Okay.
And he was a linebacker.
Did not know that. So
Michael
Do you think they're related?
Manny.
this seems
Probably.
like this isn't Kent's. This isn't Kent's.
Probably.
No,
Wow, so-
it's really not. Marcus.
I don't want to type Ian Achor again, or I would look again.
Okay. The Chargers. I think the Chargers go defensive end.
I do too.
His
And
name is Mark. You couldn't remember Mark?
No shot. That name is too crazy.
Well,
Are you
he's from
sure- are you
he's
sure
from SMU, so there's a chance the Chiefs take a duck.
Clark,
so
Clark
get
might be
ready.
phoning that one in.
Imagine.
honestly, the Chiefs have the chance to do the funniest thing ever now. It's just take him at 210.
At 29.
And we all go, what? Yeah, not at 29. Please
Oh,
no.
okay.
That would not be the funniest thing ever. I think just taking him, period, would be
I mean,
hilarious.
at this point, they might as well.
Okay.
The
No, look.
Chargers
I think
are
there's.
on-
Hey, look. There's a few players on this board that if the Chiefs still are able to secure them in a small trade up, which is becoming increasingly more. Pick 109 could get them to 25ish.
Yeah.
So, I think you're kind of getting into a range where the capital to move up is not as severe. A future third is probably getting closer and closer in play instead of a future second. I think there's some stuff here that there's some options here that I think you're feeling okay about. Obviously, probably not Jermon McCoy. Dylan
Might as well.
Or Chris Johnson.
Might as well.
Dylan
Avion
Thieneman, Casey
Terrell.
Concepcion, Keldrick Falk.
Yeah. There's some good players left. Yeah, I noticed you said a lot more defensive players than offensive players there.
D'Angelo Pons.
They take
Mark
us-
Iannachor.
Is he a linebacker? Right, on what position
Yes,
he played?
he's a
Why did I remember him being a linebacker but not Mark?
You know?
Why did I remember that? I remember the important thing.
So
Yeah, I think you're paying attention to defensive end here.
I think Malachi Lawrence in the next 2 picks is off the board. That's just my 2 cents.
You think it's Malachi Lawrence?
Here or to Dallas?
I think it's Buffalo
For Malachi Lawrence?
for Malachi
That's fair.
Lawrence.
I just think one of these next 2 picks. Buffalo feels like a TJ. Well, take that back. They have a new DC now, so I don't know what they'll do.
Yeah, our pal Nate Tice referenced that the weird name at the end of every draft is almost always tied to Buffalo, and Malachi Lawrence is the one that got the late steam that nobody else seemed to have, like at any point.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
I think he's going to the next 2. I think the hype came from everywhere for a lot of people, so I'm just wondering if he's not a little bit higher than Buffalo. We'll see.
yeah.
I'm just gonna
Buffalo could go Basantis too.
Buffalo could go Basantis. I just think that Basantis is probably off the board in the next 4-ish.
What's Dylan Thieneman doing?
I have no idea. I thought this was the 3 safety round 1. Still time.
Guy,
but
there's still a third of the first round left.
Wait, has there only been 2 defensive backs taken?
Yes.
And one was traded up for
Yes.
with the surplus?
Yes.
Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Which again,
I
now,
thought-
both were traded up for.
Let me put that in context here. Obviously, nobody else likes the rest of the DBs that are on there. Nobody's really jumping on this at any point. Jermod McCoy,
Or they feel that there's just a glut of them and they're not really
Also
concerned
possible.
with
also
taking.
possible. But let me go down the one that makes us feel better.
I don't know. If
I don't
that's
think you can bring me
possible.
back at this
Just
point in time,
stop,
Greg.
So there's only been 2 DB. Caleb Downs, Mansour Delane.
Yep, both traded up for.
That's both traded up for. That's it. That's all that has been taken at this point from a DB perspective. Jermon McCoy, obviously the knee thing is serious because he would be off the board by now if it wasn't a serious thing.
Probably.
Do they really think that, hey, there's a glut of CBs that are there, but none of these guys are ready to step in and play significant snaps for us. So it really was a 1 CB class when it comes down to it. At the
They
top.
have definitely had problems getting cornerbacks to play early.
No,
for the
I didn't
Kansas
mean.
City
I meant
Chiefs.
the NFL
Oh,
in
okay,
general,
okay.
not the NFL in general, which obviously drove the price up.
I just think about my 2 cents on it is it's a good It's a pretty good cornerback class, so nobody
It
feels
is
like they
deep.
have to reach for them besides one team. And so therefore nobody's trying to go gun for them right away.
just-
Oh, I love this pick. I'm so happy this is the pick.
I don't.
Please,
Okay. No, go ahead.
Let me double check. Yeah, with the 22nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Miami defensive end Akeem Mesidor.
Okay. I mean, there was a lot of people that wanted him to be pick 15 to the Bucks. Like there was a lot of heat that early for him. 15 was rich.
Yikes!
I still think
rich.
this is rich.
I think this is a little rich.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
I'm a Mesidor fan.
I mean, we have him 26 in the KCSN draft guide, but I just don't think I would be the team to do that, and I'm okay with.
I tried not to.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen,
I would not take him over Keldrick Falk.
I wouldn't take him over T.J. Parker. I wouldn't take him over
Parker,
even Malachi Lawrence at this point. I was thinking about it.
Then I'm getting into more of a.
I'll just say, here's what I was going to joke a little bit.
Zion,
You heard me laughing a little bit. You heard me laughing a little bit earlier, and I was laughing because I was like, what if the Chiefs took Akeem Mesidor at 29?
Oh, man.
See,
25-year-old who has to beat 20-year-olds with technique and not athleticism terrifies me. It terrifies me.
And here's the thing: so like Akeem Mesidor, like lighter than you thought.
Shorter
he was.
arms than you would think.
And so he played inside, he kicked inside, and all this expectation. And watching the tape is like he's a 275-pound defensive end. Nope, 16 pounds lighter than that.
Yeah.
And so that kind of took a little bit of the
arms. Yeah.
To reverse this, he makes a lot of sense for the Chargers. They've had luck with Thule's been over there.
Yeah.
He's played well for them. You look at how they play where they have guys stand up. They move around a lot. It's not so much put your hand in the dirt, contain on the edge because he's a bad run defender too.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily – he kind of fits, I think, what they do. He makes sense for what they do, and he can give them some level of high side rush the way that Owa did for them. So I understand where they are going with him, how he makes sense. I just think, again, a 25-year-old who has to out-technique 20-year-olds is a tough pill for me, especially when he didn't test at all, which lets me know that he's hiding something, most likely, and it shows up on film to me. That's a tough one. That's a tough defensive end for me to, I think, take over Falk, over Parker. Even over Zion Young, and now Zion Young doesn't fit what they do.
No, he doesn't.
Right.
And I mean, Parker does do a point. You can talk yourself into Parker in Los Angeles, but he still isn't quite the perfect fit there. The thing that I always look at with Mesidor won a lot. Mesidor didn't see a ton of doubles.
No, he got to go hunt matchups too.
Correct.
They moved him around over guards, over tag. I saw this weird push that Mesidor got more attention down the stretch than Ruben Bain.
No, absolutely
They literally
not.
said we can put him in the best matchup because they have to pay more attention to Ruben Bain.
Correct.
So here's this guy. Here's this grown man getting one-on-one matchups against guards where he's just two-hand swiping to death, and he's great at it. What does that look like, though, when it's Trey Smith?
And so that's the thing that I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
Where does he fit in? Who's the guy that's grabbing the most attention on this Chargers
Thule?
defense? It's Thule. Khalil Mack is still there. Not for long, but, hey, at least you can replace him with, at that time, a 26, 27-year-old. That's a great process
And,
there.
Owe had success being a speed rusher, right? And
Correct.
I don't think that's Mesidor's game.
No, it's not. So, I mean,
He's flexible-ish, but he's not a speed. So
I just look at the rest of the way that he won and the types of ways that he won. And while I do think the Chargers are creative enough to have him win, they can be creative on their defense. It's not like they're very rigid or anything like that. It just seems like that's a steeper hill to climb for him. And if he went somewhere that had like if he went to Cleveland, Myles Garrett is going to be catching doubles all game long. I was like, oh, okay, I see the path.
If he went to the Chiefs at 40, Chris Jones gets a lot of attention.
Correct.
Even across from George, he's not getting a lot of attention. He's playing one-on-ones, and at pick 40, you feel better than a pick 20.
Correct.
22.
But I mean, I just don't know that there's going to be enough attention there for a guy that's already got to win in a little bit more limited way. Even if I do like him, I do like the prospect. It just oof.
The Dallas Cowboys are on the clock now.
This was my Malachi Lawrence prediction, but I don't know with Falk there, Parker there. They went front seven once. Could they be a Chris Johnson type team? Could they be they took Downs, right? Not Styles. They took Caleb Downs.
Mm-hmm. They took Caleb Downs already.
This feels like a D end.
It does.
It does feel like a defensive end.
Do they just go thick boy, or do they go with a little bit more speed?
There's also the receiver conversation to have here too, right?
You can do Concepcion.
Would they have traded out unless they just liked a bunch of them together?
And they didn't like Lemon.
Or they just had them all grouped together. That's what I'm saying. Did they have them grouped together, or was it at the end?
What if it's Denzel Boston?
Please.
That would be lovely. I mean, I think just kind of as we're trying to figure out who the Chiefs or who the Cowboys are looking to take, a lot of people want Keldrick Falk
In Kansas City?
in Dallas.
Oh, in Dallas? I mean, this is a great range for Keldrick Falk. I mean, he's going to come in. He's going to play at a high level. You're going to get him for a 3-down guy. Like, this is – he probably doesn't have, like, the greatest, highest ceiling or anything. But, again, football character and everything's great.
We have the pick.
Okay.
With the 23rd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys have selected – UCF pass rusher, Malachi Lawrence. So the first Shrine Bowler is off the board. Congratulations to Eric Galco and the East-West Shrine Bowl. They have the 23rd pick in the NFL Draft. We had a chance to talk to him over at the East-West Shrine Bowl. Maddie, I believe you actually got a chance to talk to him, didn't you?
Yes. It was a fun interview. I mean, listen, I think Malachi Lawrence has been a riser in this process. Listening to him talk about how he went through his process, the game, how he rushed the passer. It's easy to see how he was a guy climbing up draft boards. And we talked about it in a lab recently, like, hey, if you want a guy that fits a specific profile, there's not a lot of guys that hit that middle range. There's not a lot of guys with size that are also good athletes. Everyone's going super small or super big, super strong. He was in the middle ground. It was essentially him and David Bailey in that middle ground. So I could see how teams were drawn to his profile more than a Falk or a Parker if you were looking for a speed guy, or more than an R. Mason Thomas or Cassius Howe if he's got size. So I get how he climbed up here. I am a little shocked at the end. I know I said that I thought he would go in these two picks. I'm a little shocked that he goes off the board before TJ Parker and Keldrick Falk.
Me too. Just because I think he's not really going to play the run. Again, but it appears that the NFL he tries.
Kinda.
No, I mean the effort's there. The effort is definitely there. It's not some of these guys that are just like, I'm only pinning my ears back or anything like that. But he's got. You're buying into a guy that's already got a pass rush arsenal, has a way to win, has a trait that can go out there and win, and even if he just turns out to be more of a DPR, you're okay with that. Now, you're hoping that you can develop him, put a little more weight on him, be able to have him anchor against the run a little bit better. That is certainly within the outcome here. But I was a little surprised that he went ahead of specifically Parker and Falk that I watch win, against a little better competition. A little bit, it may be a little more singular than Malachi Lawrence can win, but guys that are going to play all 3 downs.
So we're kind of the Chiefs are now in a position where the 4th round pick they have, which would be, I mean, look,
he's so happy.
It'd be a surprise to see. It'd be a surprise to see the Chiefs give up their 30 and their 4th round pick. Maybe not. Maybe not. But this is the range now where if you just want to give up pick 104. You can get into that Browns territory again. You can go trade up with the Browns again and overpay again.
We've got the Browns pick.
Oh,
we think.
We
should double check.
Yeah.
Let's double check it then.
Yeah.
I think I have it too.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so with the 24th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns have selected Casey Concepcion, the wide receiver from Texas A&M. That's probably someone you would have preferred at 29.
Yeah. This was probably the best case scenario left, and he's no longer left, which is the fear that you had for pick 29 and why sitting at 29 was a struggle. This was a good pick for the Browns. They get their offensive lineman early after trading back with the Chiefs, and then they get their wide receiver at pick 24, a very good wide receiver, I think, that has a lot of upside that you could see winning in a lot of different ways. So I think Concepcion's a guy that if you need someone who just gets open, he's your guy. Now, the catching it process, a little up in the air. Funny enough, Jordan Tyson has the exact same problem, but it's not an issue for him. It's only an issue for Concepcion. So, I think there's a lot more upside with Concepcion than what has talked about in the big media circles. So I think this is a very good pick for the Cleveland Browns.
I think it is too. And clear focus on offense for Cleveland there. Again, makes sense with what they built on defense. They're clearly going to give that stable of quarterbacks a shot. Not that they were going to draft one. They weren't taking Ty Simpson or anything like that. They've got enough bodies in the room. They're going to let somebody try and win that this year, and they're trying to build up something for the future, whether that be one of those guys winning the job here in the room this year, or whether it be, hey, listen, that went really poorly. Let's go out and try and get a guy next year, and we've already got the structure built around him. Concepcion plays into that the same way.
All right, so I'm just kind of keeping an eye on things here as far as like just the draft math, because like I'm always paying attention to this.
Sure.
This is it. Like, I mean, the Chicago Bears and the Kansas City Chiefs have a good standing relationship with Ryan Poles being there. If the Bears do want to move back, I think the Chiefs could be a target here if they wanted to give up pick 109. That the math aligns up near perfectly. So I don't know what they would feel about a Caleb Lomu if they really did want that offensive tackle. There's your guy right there. Why
wouldn't Chicago take that? Chicago desperately wants an offensive line, specifically a tackle.
That's the expectation.
Yeah.
And Caleb Lomu as a stick would make a ton of sense. I'm just saying, like, this is kind of the range. This is kind of the range where, it's a day 3 pick if you want to move up.
Yeah.
This is kind of where that starts there, or if they wanted to give up, future draft capital in 2027, which would probably be appealing. The Rams' 3rd round pick or the Chiefs' 3rd round pick next year is also very much in play, and you might even be able to get a little bit of a sweetener here. I think with Caleb Lomo on the board, he would make a lot of sense for the Bears at this point. And honestly, there's some good players here on the board for the Chiefs at 29 still. I still think, Keldrick Falk, paying attention to him. Dylan Thieneman, the safety out of Oregon. I mean, defensive. That would be funny if if the Chiefs do go defensive back to back.
Matty would lose his mind.
I know he would. Caden McDonald, Peter Woods. There's plenty of good players I would feel comfortable with the Chiefs taking 29.
There are a lot of scenarios. Chicago taking Lomu in this scenario. There's still rumors that C.J. Allen may work his way into the back end of the first round here. Buffalo could do with that. Houston maybe could do with that a little bit. They need a guy next to Al Shahir. Yeah. I mean, there's a few picks that could result in a lot of the same guys on the board for Kansas City that are currently on the board. Do you stick and pick there, Matty, or do you hear, if the Cardinals want to, the Cardinals aren't coming up for Ty Simpson anymore, but if somebody wants to come up, do you listen at this point to try and recoup some of that draft capital that you traded away from Mansour Delane, knowing that there's still this plethora of defensive ends on the board?
I mean,
you've seen that movie, haven't you? Okay.
It's a tricky spot because, for me, I see very little offensive help for this team right now, and I think the offense was a problem. And I don't like the idea of
What are you talking about, the running back?
I don't think just sitting here and going all defense in the early picks of a weak draft class is the way to get better on offense. I don't think that's smart, but you're looking at value. Kenton named off a bunch of players that he would like at 29. I noticed not a single one of them was an offensive player.
Yeah.
And so, I guess at this point, you can stick at 29 and probably get a pretty good value, and you can't be upset about that, and you're just making the defense better. I was really hoping when you leave this draft class, you felt better about the offense, and I just don't see a good path for that at this point in time. So, I don't know, trade back, get some picks.
I mean, I'm looking at volume now.
I'm cool with Falk. I'm cool with TJ. There's
Me
good
too.
defensive players. I don't know how I'm going to go to sleep tonight and be like, ooh, the offense got better today.
No, and it didn't.
You're not. I don't think you are.
Yeah,
no, that's what I mean. The offense isn't getting better in this draft, and that's a problem. Why are we making Mahomes do more yet again? I don't know. You're getting me off on a tangent now, but
what I don't understand what you're talking about. Again, they got Kenneth Walker. Everything's solved. There's no more problems. All they needed was a running game and Andy to get more time. That's all they needed.
Yeah.
Duh.
So, yeah, go take Keldrick Falk, and at least, we can be happy about some of the defensive turnover that happened. You got two relatively safe defensive players who have decent upsides, but probably not super high upsides. You come out, you got better versus the run on the defensive line. You got better in pass coverage on the back end. Maybe Falk develops a pass rush plan. You feel pretty good about the defense coming out of it.
Yeah, you do.
Right?
You do. You walk out of day one feeling good about that, and then you're hoping Chris Bell is a guy at 40.
I guess.
You know,
Maddie, I
like,
understand what you're saying about
Yes.
the defensive idea. And look, they have a pick very early into round 2. If they get Keldrick Falk, I'm going to be very excited. I'm going to be thrilled. That's such a fun pick for me in the back end of first round, even though they took a corner in the first round. Like, and I mean, like that. I thought I did for a second.
This is a long one. The Bears let this play out, but the pick is in.
I
They're
do
not
have the pick.
trading
The
it.
Bear beat reporter has it, and with the 25th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears selects Oregon safety
Yeah, there we go. That's
There
right.
we go.
I was guessing.
Dylan Thieneman.
They did lose both safeties, so like it
They did.
made sense.
He's a good football player. I mean,
Yeah.
like, as far as like, if you go watch I know some people are underwhelmed with Oregon, and some people have like kind of talked about his role a little bit in Oregon and how like
He played a different role.
played a little bit of a different role.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you go look at him at Purdue, he was a little bit more all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Played in a variety of alignments.
Played deep a lot.
Was an impact player at a lot of different levels, and great instincts, good athleticism.
Not good athleticism.
Great athleticism.
Great
He's
athleticism.
an outstanding athlete.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, he was one of those guys that I got it when everybody talked about him being a round 1 pick. You know, I know the combine is when he caught, but even watching some Oregon earlier on this year, I was like, man, that guy stands out. Like, he stands out among that set of athletes. Didn't necessarily move like the elite athlete that he tested like, but smart player, played ball well, played the run well. I got why he could be an early pick as a part of this, and then obviously goes out of the combine, blows it up, and then the secret was out on him.
Yeah, I mean, like the report was that Thieneman was going to be a freak athlete. So, like, I don't think I was overly blown away with the comment just because it was like everybody prepared you for it. But you go back and watch him at Purdue. He played a lot of single high. He did a lot of stuff. He wore a lot of different. I think he's a very good safety prospect. So like this, and this is more about the range where I think you would take him because. Where is he taking over a game from? And that's not the only way to look at his safety, but like he just feels like a guy that's going to be a nice, solid starter. And for a team that lost a lot of reps, a lot of snaps there on the back end, that makes a lot of sense. And you get a good athlete. He can play in the slot. He can play deep. He can play a little bit in the box, even though he's not the best, like strongest tackler. So he fills a lot of roles. I think this is a very, very good pick for the Chicago Bears at 25. I was more questioning when Thieneman was getting like pick 12 to the Dallas Cowboys hype.
The Texans have traded up to pick 26 with the Buffalo Bills. You would have to assume that this is going to. Wow, they did. They made a nice. Good for the. Not good for the Bills. I don't want that.
Feels like they're jumping the 49ers.
They're
it feels
jumping
like.
the 49ers. I'm assuming it's for an offensive lineman.
Yeah. Is this Lomu?
I would assume.
The Bills get 28, 69, and 167. The Texans get 26 and 91.
I would have to look at a chart.
That's pretty good
That is good.
to move 2 spots. You got a lot. I'm assuming that the
90.
Texans are moving up to go grab Caleb Lomu and grab an offensive lineman. That would be the assumption here.
Right.
And good. I mean, they got a lot of draft capital there. They really did. The
did.
Bills did good to get that much. I mean, to get into the.
Especially because they're probably going to get the same person they wanted 2 picks
I was going to
later.
say, if they're looking for a linebacker, who?
I mean, linebacker. I mean, we'll see what the 49ers do,
Right.
obviously, right? But, like, I feel like the Bills are probably sitting there looking. Basantis, Peter Woods, actually, for the Bills makes a little bit of sense,
It
too.
does.
And so, like, they could get either one of those guys and just moving back a couple spots. It feels like a very safe back if you're taking a third,
For sure.
honestly.
For sure. Yeah.
Do you think the Bills would be taking a guard in that situation, huh?
Basantis? Maybe.
They just, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
They lost Edwards, their left guard, so, like,
Chicago is excited.
So they'd be getting Dylan Thieneman.
they should
Yeah.
be. I think it's a
Yeah.
good pick where we are
It
at
is.
in the spot.
It is, absolutely. So the Chiefs are 4 picks away at this point.
I mean, are they 4?
4.
1, 2, 3.
Houston.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I get what you're saying. I mean,
Yeah.
there's 3 teams between them
3
and their
teams
selection.
between them, and but they are picking
Yeah.
4 picks from now. I like the board from an edge perspective. If they were hedging on, again, part of this trade up, why we were excited is because we thought it was Reuben Payne. That we were excited for them to go up and try and get an edge rusher as a part of that. If you were coming out of here with still an edge rusher that we like at the end of round one that makes this a little more palatable. Yes, they
Yeah.
didn't get the offense that we would be hoping for and things like that, but it is one of those that you look at and say, oh, okay, they really were hedging on the fact that at 29 there was a player that they felt comfortable being a starting level defensive end for them, and I think a Keldrick Falk or a TJ Parker would be for them across from George Karlaftis.
I mean, I think you could also lump. We'll see what the Bills do, but you could also lump like Peter Woods into that discussion as a defensive tackle. He's a guy that's still gotten a good chunk of round one hype here late in the process. Like, there is defensive line talent that is still available, and so if you're the Chiefs and you maybe don't have as high of a grade on Ruben Bain as you thought, and Ansar Delane is clearly separated from everybody else, that's worth going. What you got, Tuck?
Mr. Schefter is saying that the 49ers are attempting to trade pick number 27.
Interesting.
I could see the Chiefs moving up for that.
Just to jump in front of Buffalo.
Just
for grins.
Just to make sure they know who they still are. I do think I've seen the Texans pick.
Okay. I'm a little surprised that it's taken this long to get leaked after they clearly came up for it.
Give me a second here. Let me double check. It is an interior offensive lineman if it is the move.
For the Texans?
Coffee Boy did that. Coffee Boy said the same thing.
With the 26th pick in a trade-up, the Houston Texans have selected Georgia Tech offensive lineman Keelan Rutledge.
Interesting.
Over Basantis.
I mean, okay. It's a certain mentality to go Rutledge over Basantis, which I get. He's grittier, he's meaner, he's more physical, and if that's what you're looking for, I get it. I am surprised at the jump up unless that is who they thought the Bills would have then been. Now, they traded with the Bills, so it doesn't make sense.
No, it'd be the Niners.
Well, no, but I mean, maybe they thought the Bills might like him too. The Bills didn't think. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out who they thought was going to take him. But hey, good for them. I mean, good for Rutledge, not necessarily them.
The Dolphins have traded with the Niners now.
So the Dolphins are on the clock now.
Dolphins jumped up in
Who did the
front
Dolphins
of
pick?
Buffalo.
The Dolphins with Aiden Proctor.
There's a Falk pick right here.
I could see this being.
They had a
Falk.
lot of hype for Falk leading into the draft process.
That feels like it.
They trade up ahead of Buffalo and KC and New England and Seattle. Seems pretty reasonable for Keldrick Falk.
If Keldrick Falk and TJ Parker go off the board in the picks right before KC.
I think that's deserved for trading up to pick 6.
Get out.
The Dolphins traded
pick.
30. The Dolphins traded 30 and 90 to the Niners and received picked 27 and 138. So nice little move there, just to
Let's see what they do.
go back a little bit here.
Zion Young also still on the board. I know
Proctor
I
and
didn't
Falk
mention
would
him,
be
but
some beef. That's a lot of beef you're drafted on the trenches if you're the Dolphins. Which is smart. I mean, good for them because that team has had the.
Someone did mention
Omar Cooper.
Yeah, they haven't grabbed an offensive or a pass catcher yet.
Sure.
And the pass catchers really haven't fallen off the board all that much. So
It's possible, too.
maybe this is the Omar Cooper territory.
Is Halfley going to go 2 offensive picks with that defense looking the way it does?
I mean, they need bodies everywhere.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Go with the best player left on the consensus board.
Yeah.
I mean, just pick a position. I just think that Falk's pretty close to the best player left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like the Chiefs?
Caleb Lomu's still available for the Chiefs pick, by the way.
Don't. Hey, Matty, there's your offense.
Do you know Kyle Whittingham knows Andy Reid very, very well?
Maybe the info is correct.
Maybe it was always about Caleb Lomu and not about Spencer Fano.
Do you know what my comp for Caleb Lomu is? My own comp?
No.
Poor man's Eric Fisher.
Well, that's poor man. I don't know.
How you doing, Craig?
I'm struggling, if that's the case.
Hey, Matty wanted an offensive player, man.
I did. Still do.
Would you rather have Caleb Lomu or Keldrick Falk?
In a vacuum, Falk, but like you tell me the outlook you tell me the outlook of this team is the offense they had last year running it back.
Plus Kenneth Walker.
Or I mean, better right tackle if you think Lomu can play it, I don't know.
I think he needs work.
I think he does. Especially to switch sides, I think you need a year.
I don't think he's stepping in immediately.
I think you would need a year, so.
Well, I will say I do think tackles that need a year, I mean, the Chiefs like to stay ahead of the curve and stay ahead in 2027. And I think that would have been one of the arguments you make if the Chiefs do eventually take a tackle early, especially a developmental player like that.
He's still young.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, look, you may not need him in 2026. But in 2027, you're going to have a huge need.
There's an update on the trade compensation. The Dolphins do get another pick back. So they got 27 and 138 back from the Niners, not just 27, what was originally reported. So it's Niners get 30 and 90, while the Dolphins get 27 and 138
Gotcha.
for
Emmanuel
clerical reasons.
McNeil Warren, maybe for Miami, just to try and have a tempo
Colton
setter.
Hood.
I don't think they can go wrong with this pick. I'm just trying to square the trade up, and it feels like jumping ahead of the teams they did that like a Falk or a Parker makes a lot of sense.
I
Buffalo gonna go
agree.
Safety.
I don't think so. But
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, I would be really. That would be a real gut punch. If they go and grab Falk, I think that would be a gut punch for me.
Yeah, it just feels like their move up has to be for somebody that's not supposed to be there. And out of all the guys we've said that's not supposed to be there, it's Keldrick Falk.
Probably.
I think
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna because there's a local reporter in Miami that is saying Chris Johnson's the pick.
Okay, that makes sense too.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Fine. Like
The
again,
second corner off the board there. Yeah.
I don't think if that's the correct pick. I don't think they couldn't really made a wrong pick here, right? With picking somebody relatively at the top of the board of the stuff. Chris Johnson being a lot of teams' second corner. Again, that was a lot of people's second corner off the board in their mock drafts.
After the McCoy news. Yes,
once the McCoy news fell in. So that makes sense. Very smart corner. Very good. Plays a lot of different stuff. Can be very versatile. I think he makes a ton of sense. I think our Green Bay friends have said that Chris Johnson was very much a Bay Packer type corner,
That makes
and
sense.
that coaching staff,
Yeah.
that defensive coordinator that was there, is now in Miami. So
So Buffalo may have been looking to take Chris Johnson then at that point,
Maybe.
because I don't think that Kansas City was going to come back and draft another
Chiefs,
corner at
well,
this point.
the Chiefs will technically have the ability to draft either Keldrick Falk or T.J. Parker.
I mean,
If they so
Or
wanted
Caleb
them.
Lomo.
and if that's the case, Maddie, you wanted offense. I don't get what your problem is here.
Or Omar Cooper Jr.
Of us three, I'm going to be the least upset at Caleb Lomu at pick 29. I want to be clear about that. So you can.
I don't know if that's the case.
I think it is.
I will be the most.
I think there's a.
Okay.
I
Well,
think there's a
you and
logical,
I might be in the same spot, but I would get Caleb Lomu there at pick 29. So.
There's a logical path
Sure.
to taking off.
I don't think Buffalo's taking him. So now, if I were the Chiefs right now, with what I'm looking at with those three players plus an Omar Cooper, who I'm not a big fan of, but Brett Veach seemed to talk about in pretty highlight. I don't know if I would completely hate a trade back at this point in time if you're
That's
able to
kinda where I
recoup
am.
some stuff. I think especially if I'm looking at it this way, right? Like, one, I wish the Chiefs still could. Like, they still could, but I wish the Chiefs were still in the cornerback market and they didn't spend their first pick on one, because I think there's a lot of good corners here. And so if you wanted to trade back and get your corner later, if you wanted to draft a corner here, I think it would make a lot more sense to be going for a Colton Hood, for a Jermod McCoy, for whoever at this pick than it was at pick 6. But besides that, I think a trade back here makes a little bit of sense.
It does, and I'm kind of. I think I'm there. I'm just looking at the teams that are. I don't want to trade back too far. That's the problem here.
Yeah.
Because I like this pocket of players. I want to collect one of them, and so I'm looking at this, trying to figure out, is there a way they can trade back into the early part of day 2?
That's what it
Still
would be.
stay in front of pick 40 and have kind of like a back-to-back.
Sorry, I wouldn't
there.
trade below pick 40. It would probably be a pick. I mean, you might even still be picking in the first round.
Right, and that's fair. I would be
Yeah.
very much on board with that. It just feels like you got to have somebody in love with somebody.
Now, the word was, I think was it Schrager's mock? I forget who the mock was, but somebody had said, hey, the Chiefs don't want a star. They want 2 starters from their first 2 picks.
And I mean,
Falk and Parker
are
Caleb
starters.
Lomu, even in the future, that gives you 2 starters.
Fair, but I wouldn't say he's an immediate starter. So
I don't know. Have you seen their right tackle? That gives you the opportunity
Caleb
to get.
Lomu plays left tackle.
I know. That gives you the opportunity to get 2 starters. So I can see how they would just want to stick with what they have and get it. The board actually fell pretty. I mean, Peter Woods. I keep forgetting him. Peter Woods should also be
Woods as well.
injected into this conversation.
Zion Young is also in this conversation.
Yeah.
I prefer a Keldrick Falk or a TJ Parker, but I'm not going to be mad at a Zion
Yeah.
Young. So there's a lot of Those types of guys that are all going to come in and start and play significant snaps
In a
for the
vacuum,
Chiefs.
this pick's going to be – I think in a vacuum, this pick has the chance to be really good. It's just the combo with the trade-up and Delane, that's where my hesitation is going to remain.
Denzel Boston incoming.
Okay.
The Bills are on the clock.
Look, I've even convinced myself not to be mad about that, Craig.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay, here's my sell.
would.
If it's Denzel Boston, you're going to use him like Rashee Rice, just catching like balls over the middle, catching the ball and staying on the move, and you're going to see if he can develop something on the outside that Rice never could. He's less explosive, but he's good catching. He's good with physicality. He can play tough over the middle. I think there's a floor there that would make sense in the future, and you see if you get more from him on the outside. Would I love it? No. But I would already told myself I won't be mad. The problem is they traded up for a corner at pick 6. And so now I
And
might
then
be
another
mad.
one didn't go until pick 27.
Yeah, but no, I mean, Denzel Boston, yeah. Peter Woods, T.J. Parker, Keldrick Falk.
Somebody asked about Christian. Go ahead.
Hold on. No.
Asked about Christian Miller
Wait a
in the
second.
chat at defensive tackle. I think
Good
that's
player.
just a little bit rich for Christian Miller at this point. But again,
If
not
you're
mad
gonna
about it.
if you're gonna take that style of player, if you're gonna take Kristen Miller or style of player similar to that, I'd go Cade McDonald.
Oh, fair. Yeah, Cade
I think
McDonald's still on the board.
So I think Christian
Yeah.
Miller has more pass rush upside than McDonald, though, and I think that would be your rationale for going Millers. You said, hey, Georgia took this pretty good explosive athlete and made him play as a two-gapper in a way that he's not going to be asked to play at the next level, whereas McDonald won't.
Patriots are trading up to 28.
Is that confirmed?
Oh, yeah, it
Mike
is.
Garafolo,
It
Tom
just popped up on the
Pelissero.
clicker.
So the Bills and the Bills and the Patriots trade in another individual
So
trade.
either it's somebody that New England is trying to get in front of Kansas City to take, or it's a whole bunch of teams we're calling Buffalo trying to trade
trying to
up
get
at this
ahead
point.
of Houston.
Yeah.
Making sure that they're just getting somebody in the back end of that.
Yeah. Trying to think, New England trading up here, what they need. I don't know. Is this a Caden McDonald spot? Try and add a little more beef to that defensive line. I mean,
I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they would be in on defensive end.
I don't know either. That doesn't seem like the way that they built this historically. Now that doesn't
Right.
mean that they don't want to change from that, but I mean,
The Patriots sent picks 31 and 125 to the Bills for the 28th selection.
okay.
So the Chiefs
Interesting.
are very quickly going to be on the clock.
Yeah, as I look through here, I mean, they could also do with the pass catcher. Maybe they like Omar Cooper Jr. They try and add a little more to that because right now it's
It's the
Keyshawn
Patriots.
Boutte,
Well, they're
Romeo.
getting
Oh,
A.J.
that's
Brown.
right. They're getting A.J. Brown.
I
Yes.
think I know the pick. Give me a second.
Feels
Let
like
me-
D tackle.
It's not. I don't think. Let me get ready real quick, and then we'll go. Run.
He's got to get ready. So he knows the pick.
Wait, did he ditch us when he said he's doing the pick?
Yeah.
We could have just talked about the pick.
Hey, can I put it on the ticker?
Yeah,
Yeah.
put it on the
Okay,
ticker
let me
for
put it
me.
on the ticker.
You can also announce it.
Genuine reaction from Craig and Maddie here. Pick is in.
Ooh, I think I know what it is. Makes sense. But I get why they did it too.
I'm still waiting.
The New
for it
England
to
Patriots
transition.
select Utah offensive lineman
Yeah,
Caleb
Lomu.
Lomu.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jumping ahead of the
It
Chiefs.
does.
I mean, the Chiefs have all this offensive tackle smoke, so them trying to jump ahead of the Chiefs to make sure the Chiefs can't take him, I honestly makes a ton of sense from the New England Patriots. And
And
I know,
Craig's national nightmare is over.
Ken had to go pee before we started. The
yeah,
pod.
and mine just begins. It makes sense for them. And I think Morgan Moses was contemplating retirement or something like that too.
Yeah.
So like that makes a ton of sense for them.
That does make sense. It does.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick for them. This is where Caleb Lomu should go in a draft. That's a
is.
very good pick for the New England Patriots. I would have had no real complaints about the Chiefs taking him. So I have no complaints about the Patriots jumping the Chiefs to take him.
I would have just because I want a guy that can play for the Kansas City Chiefs with this pick.
The Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock with the 29th
boy.
pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Ken Swanson here with Maddie Lane and Craig Stout. The New England Patriots just jumped ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe, presumably, maybe not. I don't know. The Kyle Whittingham connection with Andy Reid for Utah offensive tackle Caleb Lomu. Don't know if that was the direction that the Chiefs were going, but the Patriots seem to at least believe that they needed to move up a little bit for that player. And with as many people have been connecting the Kansas City Chiefs to offensive tackle, maybe that was the case. But now the Chiefs are sitting here on the clock with the 29th pick. And we will see where this team is going. Some best player available for you, Maddie. Who are you thinking right now?
I don't want to because the last time I did, they went completely off the board. Best player available is Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper Jr., and defensive players.
Keldrick Falk would be my favorite selection.
Keldrick Falk would be my
the
favorite
defensive
as
end
well.
out of Auburn. And, I think there's been a lot of conversation around him.
TJ Parker.
TJ Parker, defensive end sitting very pretty for the Chiefs
Peter
right now.
Woods would make Peter Woods is on my list too. I've come around on Peter Woods quite a bit. So I'm not around, but this is where I've always thought he should go. I think when you watch him play, there's a body control and lateral agility that no other defensive tackle, even Caleb Banks didn't have that same level of body control that he did. So Peter Woods is up in that top 3 for me too.
I mean, and on top of that, he was a guy that in 2024, his 2025 tape is not good, but in 2024, he played and stood up off the edge at that weight, rushed the passer as an edge rusher playing at a huge weight, and didn't look out of place. It was a little bit like when you see Chris Jones line up and you're like, oh, wow, maybe that's the case. I would be fine with Peter Woods. He's not my favorite player, but I see the vision, I see the path, and I'm get excited about what this defensive line can be, even if it's not the edge.
I'm going to need more opinions on Peter Woods.
Because
with the 29th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs have selected defensive tackle Peter Woods out of Clemson. There's been some buzz lately that the Chiefs might be a Peter Woods team. Yeah. And they have went out and selected a player that at one point was considered a top 5 selection in this draft.
He was some people's number 1 player coming into the year.
If you go back and look at some of the DraftKings props that kind of come out shortly after the 2025 NFL draft, and you were looking at first player selected, you weren't going to have to look very far to see Peter Woods' name. This is a guy coming in that had a lot of buzz as one of the top players in this draft, and a little bit of an underwhelming season here for Clemson. Some underwhelming pre-draft process, honestly, too. When you look at, how he what he weighed in under 300 pounds, the athletic testing wasn't as exciting as you wanted to see. Some of the production wasn't necessarily quite what you were hoping for in 2025. But a lot of qualities, a lot of traits there. The analytical profile, a lot of the analytical profiles love him as a player, and definitely a player that maybe has some more upside than what you saw in 2025 if you go back and look at some of the 2024 tape.
The 2025 tape, there's a lot that I'm not in love with on that front. You still see some wins on that, but you don't see a player that should dominate. Again, he was not just some people, a lot of people's not only top defensive tackle, but consensus top 5 pick. Everybody walked in and then just went, what happened to this guy? And the hard part about it was 2 years ago he was even better than that. So he's a guy that has kind of stagnated through 2 years, even if 2024 was really good. I just think that they are betting on a guy, clearly a guy with top 5 talent, clearly a guy to try and step in here. Guys, this feels like heir apparent to Chris Jones. This feels like, hey, we're going to put these two guys on the field together and they can coexist. It's not going to be one or the other. They can definitely coexist together, and the interior of the defensive line could be really scary if both of those guys are locked in and playing at a high level, and then you've got a future plan to try and take over from Chris Jones. So it is still a starter, but a guy that is also looking towards the future a little bit too.
That entire Clemson defense really took steps back when Brent Venables left.
The whole Clemson team.
The team did, but especially the defense, and all they did since then was stunt and twist and hey, you're playing contain, you're spiking. So I don't think you really got to see Peter Woods just attack very often. And when you try to focus in on just his encounters with offensive line, I think he beats blocks incredibly well.
Yes.
He just doesn't always get to pressures. He doesn't always beat the blocker, but a lot of times it's because he's slanting into the contact. So you're moving left, then you beat the blocker. Well, now you still got to continue to move left, and sometimes that takes you out of the play, right? And so I think he's a guy that you could see go from minimal collegiate production to big-time NFL production just by simply being allowed to play more straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's going to be really cool when they put him and Tonga in the backfield together in the
getting ready
goal
to
line
say
and let Tonga lead through the A-gap
I was so
with
happy.
Peter Woods
I was
as
so
halfback.
happy that the Peter Woods offensive highlight was in the reel here because, yes, the two of them, there's your short yardage package right there. The
Oh,
two
look
of
at the
them
suit.
together. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I just love that some of the the highlights are making the package just because we were talking the other day and I was watching some Peter Woods cut ups because sometimes I've watched several games and I have some opinions on some of those games, but sometimes it's fun to just watch the high level plays of a player and get an idea of those. And there's some teams that like to bank a little bit on the high level moments because it's hey, the coaching staff wants to see the 25 best plays of this player because it's my job to go coach those things out of them. So it's just fun to see him on the offensive side of the ball a little bit. I think there's some high-level splashes in his play, but one of the things I really appreciate about him, and we talked about, you're talking about me, and BJ watched him together in January, looking at him as a consideration for pick 9 back then. And
yeah.
I don't think we were all enamored at the idea of pick 9, but I think you see there's a lot of balance through the lower half and strength. You talk about being able to deconstruct blocks, but you also see some balance and some athleticism and some movement skills that maybe didn't show up with the athletic testing quite as much. A good to above average athletic tester at the defensive tackle spot at 298 pounds. But I think you saw some plus movement skills, some twitch, balance through the lower half in his game that flashed a lot more when he was defending the run. Mm-hmm. The question, I think, is the pass rush upside and whether or not you think there's a lot more in him as a pass rusher. Those are the things that I think are going to bring some question marks moving forward. But to be fair, I think there is some truth to the fact that similarly to what we talked about, if Keldrick Falk was the pick right now, we would be talking a little bit about usage and how much he really got to truly play in a gap and penetrate and get up the field and rush. And I think the same argument can be made from an interior perspective with Peter Woods. I think Woods, played a little bit more in a reactive stance at times, maybe owning more than one gap at a time sometimes. Yes. Didn't really get to just shoot up the field. And in Kansas City, I believe he's going to get more opportunities. I
agree. A lot of two-gapping that he had to do there. And, wasn't a guy that had the best conditioning. And so when you're two-gapping constantly, and then especially in 2025 when you are playing on a not great football team and a defensive scheme that's not using you to your best strengths and you're watching your draft stock tank, well, it brings a lot of questions about a player. It's okay, TJ Parker, we talked about that guy there, still playing hard, still out there really, putting forth the best effort. I wouldn't say that about Peter Woods, and that's why he's here. I also think that some of his lack of length does show up at times. Yeah. You do see that when he's trying to extend and try and, kind of clear blockers off of him. You can see him get a little bit locked up by longer players there. But again, that's when he's trying to two-gap. That's when he's trying to, kind of slant across some of this at times. It just was one of those things that he was kind of misused a little bit, to Maddie's point. And then some of those things that just are a little bit of the weaknesses. The things that, if he was a top 5 pick, let's say he played like he did in 2024, and certainly if he played like he did in 2023, 2023, then you would have been looking at a guy that would have been nitpicked for the short arms, kind of like Ruben Bain or something like that. You would have had a bunch of scouts saying, well, we see the length, the lack of length. You're not hearing that as much about this because people just focus on what happened to him. That's really the question about it. It's what happened to him this last year? Why did he just fall off a cliff when he clearly has all of this talent?
Yeah, I think the lack of arm length shows up, especially in the run game, because, again, he's really good at, I think, shedding blockers. He's really good at getting their hands off of them, off of him. He stops his feet when he fires his hands sometimes, and when you have a lack of length, you don't get to clear the blocker and keep them off of you re-engaging. So I think the arm length shows up more in the run game. As a pass rusher, I thought he did a really good job getting to the edge of a blocker. He was really good at clearing their hands and attacking their shoulder. It was just, again, you're slanting all the time, and so you're not always moving at the quarterback. You're moving away from the quarterback. And if you go back to 2024, there's some plays where he's playing at 310 pounds last year. He's turning the corner at 310 pounds.
He is as a stand-up edge rusher and doing that. I mean, that is athleticism.
And now, I will say, he didn't finish near as many plays as he should have. He did not. And like that is something you got to figure out. Is it an arm length issue? Is there something with the closing burst? Is that why he slimmed down this past year, was maybe to finish more plays and it just didn't play out? I don't know. So there was more disruption than there was play making on his film. But I do want to say I think a lot of that was the scheme. I think he did get a lot of extra attention in that defense.
Definitely.
So like I think there's a lot of raw physical talent for Peter Woods. I don't think he's particularly like underdeveloped skill wise. Right? He knows how to use his hands. He understands block recognition and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just think that if his pre-draft process was better, if he was able to test really well, I know he had a hamstring injury, so he only ran the 10-yard split or whatever. If he actually tested well, I don't think he falls this far. But there's just so much up in the air about him, the way this is gone, that you might be getting a really good value. You might be getting a top 10 talent at the end of round one. I'm using might very liberally here because we just don't know what it ended up as.
And here's the other part, and Kent will like this as I throw to him. He just turned 21.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a lot of growing
Kent said,
to
"Oh,
do.
I know."
He's a March baby.
He's a March baby.
He's a March baby, born March 5th, 2005. This is still a player that fits that profile that what Brett Veach likes. He likes to draft younger prospects, and he likes to have some runway here so that if you do get him on a second contract, you're extending them still while they're in their 20s. And so if, everything works out for Peter Woods, he's probably, if he gets an extension, he's still getting an extension ends at 29.
Yeah.
And so like there is then to like a little bit about Peter Woods. We had him as the second ranked defensive tackle in the KCSN draft guide. We put, him, I think we had him 28th on the consensus or on our board.
He went 29.
And he went 29. So like kind of fair value, kind of where we had him stacked. But, I do think there is some upside to them. Like, I do agree with you, Maddie. Like, I think if things go a little bit differently for him in 2025, there is a chance that he's off the board earlier. Again, this was a guy that
just tested.
Or some of the testing might have been even a little bit better, too. Sometimes, I was talking to Eric Galco about this, and I don't remember if this was on air or off air, but just kind of talking about, how sometimes it feels like the way too early mock drafts from the year prior can be right. Like there can be some truth to it. Like kind of getting an idea. Like it's just you're probably a lot of these way too earlys. Maybe there's not a ton of tape watching, but there's just asking scouts who are living and breathing for next year's class already. Kind of like guys that you might be interested in kind of stacking your boards like that. I think Peter Woods is one of those guys that, I think it's if you based it off of 24, if you had the 2026 NFL draft on May 1st of 2025, probably goes in top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so the talent that people saw in him didn't go away. Sometimes there is context to a bad season. And I think that's kind of what the Chiefs are banking on a little bit here is hope that there's, some unrealized upside and maybe on the heels of a down year, which happens at times in NFL careers too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not always linear. Sometimes guys have some variability to their seasons. And I think that's the hope is that the Chiefs are getting somebody that, they think 25 is not an indication. 2025 is not necessarily an entire indication of what the future success of Peter Woods is. And so this is a guy that, I think flashed a lot more earlier years. And the Chiefs are betting that they can get more consistently what they've seen out of the body of work of Peter Woods than what they got in the entirety of 2025.
Yep. They're buying low on a very talented player.
Yeah, this was about the range I think that you saw Peter Woods being projected to go to.
I mean, I think post his pro day workout, he had fallen to pretty comfortably second round. And then it was the late in the process, the final round of mock drafts, he'd gotten pushed back up because like the people were like, wait a second, like we're getting a little too overzealous with pushing him down the board here, right? Like this is a guy that we all believed in a couple months ago, and nothing he did on the field said that he was any worse. It was just the production didn't follow. So yeah, a little fall made sense. A fall to the second round didn't make sense. So yeah, this seemed like the right range to settle in. Some of the analytics put him like up there with Byron Murphy.
Yes.
Didn't see that at all on film. Like, right, I think Byron Murphy was very clearly a better player on film. So like, I always thought that in the right spot, he was a mid to late first round tackle. I've compared in the Deron Payne tier. That was before the pre-workout process. Put him in just like that tier of defensive tackle, and that the Chiefs would, if he's at that tier, the Chiefs got a good deal at pick 29, especially in this draft class. And they were able to stick and pick there.
let's grade this pick before we get out of here.
Okay.
So, Craig, give me the grade on the Peter Woods selection for the Kansas City Chiefs at 29.
B+ all around for me. I think he's got growth to do. I have questions about whether the player we saw in 2025 is the player that the Chiefs got, but I get banking on the upside, and it gives you a Chris Jones replacement in the future, which is going to be sorely needed as the Chiefs need some pass rush help.
Yeah, I think B+ is pretty good. I think there's a little bit of good value, so you got to bump them up there. It's a position that matters a lot for them. They don't have any interior pressure besides Chris Jones. They don't really have any pressure besides Chris Jones, so you get a guy that has high upside there. I think B+ is fair. I needed some excitement after the first pick. This brought back a little bit. So I'm going to go A-. It gets the bump of just being, I think, a more exciting pick overall for me.
I'm debating between A- and B+.
Yeah, I'm going A- because I like the value. I think the upside of the player is there. And like I said, I needed something to pull me back from what happened earlier in the day.
Screw it. A-.
You're loud.
A- for the selection of Peter Woods.
Hater right now.
You are.
Yeah, for giving him
Why
a
do you hate Peter?
B+, Craig. Seriously? Peter Woods is
His name's
the
Peter,
newest Kansas City Chief with the 29th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The Chiefs go and get a young defensive tackle with immense upside, and it's up to that coaching staff to get it out of him. And if they do, they got themselves a fantastic player. Thank you, everyone that is hanging out with us tonight here on night one of the 2026 NFL Draft. We are wrapping things up. A few picks have been made since the Chiefs made that selection at pick 29 of Peter Woods. We'll catch you up on those. With the 30th pick, the New York Jets trade up and go acquire Omar Cooper Jr.,
Sure.
wide receiver.
Yeah.
Out of
Him
Indiana.
and Kenyon Sadiq are the exact same player. They're going to catch
Omar.
short passes and try to run after the catch.
And then,
One of them's just bigger.
one of those, it's funny that one of the Veach disciples goes and trades up to pick 31 and grabs Keldrick Falk, the defensive end,
Good pick.
out
Good
of
job for them.
Auburn.
Tennessee.
I think that's a great pick. I
That's
think
a great pick by Tennessee.
that's a good fit for Robert Saleh. Some inside-outside ability. I've seen some people say maybe like he just puts on weight and goes D-tackle full-time. And
The 49ers just took Michael Williams last year, right?
yeah,
How much different is Falk and Michael Williams?
not much.
Right. So, yeah, I think that could have been seen. I have found a fun quote. This is from Sam McDowell. Mansour Delane said when the Chiefs moved up to number 6, he thought, damn, I wanted to go to the Chiefs. And then the call came.
Maddie, you can't take that. That man wants to be in. He loves Kansas City.
He didn't think they were coming up for him.
He
Like
loves
us three.
Kansas City.
Chris Jones tweeting, "There we go," with a bunch of periods afterwards. When 11 minutes ago, I don't know what that means.
With a bunch of periods?
Yeah, like there we go. Dot, 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 dot.
Yeah, well, Delane was a great pick according to Chris Jones, so I guess he doesn't like Peter Woods.
There we go. Dot, 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 dot.
The
That's
Seahawks.
wild.
We're waiting on the Seahawks
There's
pick
the
to
Chris
round
Jones
out.
replacement in
This
2027
is
Peter Woods.
if Jermod McCoy doesn't
Can I
go.
can I
here-
announce the pick?
Yes, please.
The 32nd pick?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
With the 32nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks have selected Notre Dame running back Jadarian Price.
Shut up.
They did it with one of 4 picks.
Shut up.
They have 4
I
picks.
know.
No way.
And they have
I'm
been
being 100% serious.
The buzz was there.
They have
Per
been
coffee
so
boy.
vocal about wanting to trade out of this pick that they hated this pick, that they wanted
Well,
more picks, and then they use it on Jadarian
The
Price.
Titans must have gotten a better deal going up ahead of them. Maybe they thought that the Seahawks would take Falk. I don't know. I mean, look at it from their perspective. They lost Kenneth Walker.
I know.
Charbonnet's recovering from a significant injury.
Correct.
Like they kind of have a
They
need.
need somebody.
That
That seems rich for Price.
I mean, and to be fair, this is a bad running back class, and
Go back to the
now all
combine.
of the running backs are gone.
Go,
yeah, pretty much.
go back to the
All
combine.
3 of them. Kenyon
Again,
Sadiq.
I think next year we should do an experiment. Craig, since you are busier than Kent and I with draft stuff, you should stop taking in any draft knowledge at the combine and see if you're more accurate at predicting stuff than we are. Because I bet you would be.
This is going to be really fun to be on the lab every week between the combine and the draft
Yeah.
if I don't absorb any new information.
Couldn't he just like do a mock draft right then and there, and then move on with his life?
and
And
you-
then it's like
That's
a
not
time.
as fun.
Okay.
I'm
I want
just
to talk to him during draft season.
I'm just
And you're
saying-
just ruining that
I'm
for
just
me.
saying everything that's happening right now, if you would have pulled this stuff at the combine, would be far more accurate than
was
if you
gonna
pulled
say,
people 3 days ago.
Insanely, including
Price was a round 1 pick. Peter Woods was a first-round pick.
Mansour Delane was that high.
Yeah,
like,
him
he
and
was
McCoy,
getting him and McCoy were
one
both,
of those two were
yeah,
that high.
yeah.
Then they kind of fell. I was just like, Reuben Bain at the combine time was more in the teens rather than going up in the. It's just like it feels like Jordan Tyson hadn't fallen down and then risen back up yet. Right? Like I mean, like just it feels like the combine was more accurate. The info was far more accurate than what we are getting right now leading up to the draft.
Now,
That's all.
the Ty Simpson stuff.
No,
that's-
at the combine, I
that's
feel
right.
like he
there
was
was a
up there
little
too.
heat there too, wasn't there? Man.
Especially when they came out and said that like his medicine killed his innards.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. So, the end of the first round has come and gone. That felt really fast. The 8-minute picks. It is, sorry, my computer's still set to mountain time here. It is 10:05
Yeah,
right
it's quick.
now, and the draft has ended.
Hold on. We got to do
yeah.
something real quick.
We got to do something.
Oh, we're not. Here it is. Chiefs offense. We're pouring one out because they apparently don't care.
They're all better, buddy.
They don't care about the
They're all
offense.
fixed. Rasheed Rice isn't suspended, so they're claiming they're all better.
The offense doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, RIP all this tackle
Offense.
talk that we spent. Oh, I mean offense, but all this tackle talk that we spent all this time on, and that the Chiefs very clearly wanted to get out
Well,
there.
I don't know. The 49ers jumped ahead of them. They could have been interested.
That's true.
They could have been interested in
They
tackle.
could have been interested in tackle, or they snowed the 49ers into the
I mean,
point
listen,
where they thought that they needed to jump
my-
up there so that they could
Okay,
get Peter
here we go.
Woods.
Kent's not here. My takeaway right now, Greg.
Okay, hey,
Yeah, hold on.
Come on.
Let me move. I don't want to spill my water.
Yep.
All right, my takeaway is this. Here's my couple takeaways. Mansour Delane was clearly the Chiefs' top target going to the
Top
draft.
target
They
in the
said,
draft.
above anything else, we want Delane. We're not even going to risk it. I think he'd have been there at 9. People are freaking out one way or the other.
So okay, yeah, go ahead.
I just think he'd have been there. He was clearly their top target, right?
Yeah.
That is the guy they wanted above all else, right?
Yes.
So they go and got him. Clearly, they think that Andy Reid with extra time is going to fix the offense
Yes.
without an influx of talent outside of Kenneth Walker.
Andy Reid
Duh.
with extra time.
Told you
oh,
that.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
Kim.
you're back?
What's up, guys?
Hey,
What's
buddy.
up?
Sorry.
Hey, I feel very left out.
No,
right
we
now.
were talking.
I'm just sad. Can I jump in?
Oh, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah,
they feel like Andy Reid with extra time and
a running back.
Eric Bieniemy
Running backs
demanding
coach.
better execution.
Can
A new wide
DeMarco Murray.
receiver coach, a new running backs coach. Like, they're banking on the system works with the players.
It's
and
the
they-
children who are wrong.
Yes, and Andy has basically been saying that all season.
Yeah, and we all said, "You sure about that?" And then
I
he's
know.
like, "Yeah, I am."
Well,
this.
he's putting his money where his mouth is
Clearly.
right now.
The
And
Chiefs left round 1 of this draft without adding a pass catcher, a defensive end, or an offensive tackle.
Now, they did add a defensive lineman.
They did.
but,
They did
yeah.
add somebody that could help the pass rush.
Yeah.
I was very specific. They
Yes.
left without a pass catcher.
I think-
a defensive end.
Correct.
Or
I think-
an
And
offensive.
just
lineman.
remember, they're getting Omar Norman Lott back.
And they have one pick tomorrow.
one
Do
pick
have one
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Curious to see
Right
what
now.
happens there. Yeah, for
They
now.
gotta- oh my god, they got to use it.
For
They
now,
do.
they
do.
have one pick.
No, that's what I'm saying. They do. They've got to use it. And maybe 40 ends up being a trade back spot as teams re-rack the board and come to the conclusion there.
There's
and
one
who
way to
knows?
pull me back. Just give me Chris
Chris
Bell.
Bell, yeah.
It's the only option. That's the only offensive option that's left. If you don't get him, just trade back and take a tight end and hope they hit, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, if you want to help this offense, that's all you got left. And, like, that's a tough spot to be in, I think.
It is. It is.
It's going to be interesting to see how the Chiefs navigate the board with now only one pick in the day 2 of the NFL draft. And we will be here every single pick of that draft, regardless of how many picks the Chiefs have.
And we're standing tomorrow.
KC Sports Network's where you want to
On
be for the
business.
rest of the 2026 NFL draft. Every single pick is here. I don't even know what these two said. But that's Maddie Lane. That is Craig Stout. Thank you all so
That's
much
Nick Swanson.
for listening and watching and supporting. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll catch you later.
Go Chris Bell.